Hey Pajama, how you doing? You're the first person here. Hi Drewberry. Good evening. Late night Sunday, live, principal software engineer talking about the software industry. Chips, what up? Yahtzee, what up? User, random number, how's it going? Bones, good to see y'all. Welcome to the live, I just started. How you guys doing? I'm a principal software engineer. I got plenty of secrets to share about the software industry. I'd love to share them with y'all. You guys got any questions about anything? If you're already in the software industry, I'd love to know more about the things that your senior engineers do that you do not like. I am at a FANG company, not at one in the acronym, but you could consider it part of big tech. I was at Microsoft for 13 years. So if you consider Microsoft FANG, then yes. Hey y'all, how you doing? Hey Coder G, how you doing? Good to see ya. Y'all should like the live. I'm not supposed to ask that because like that's just not what you're supposed to do. But you guys should like double tap the screen because I know it's like super fun to do that. And spread the love. I love doing lives. In fact, like I cannot wait for my wife and son to go to bed so I can go live on TikTok. It's an absolute blast. Notice my new like template. I got a little thing on the side here so people can like scroll by and see what it is I'm actually talking about. High effort. Thanks, Nathan. I remember you being here. Your boy says, would it be wise to work for Amazon right now as an STE? Of course. Like, sure, I've heard some horror stories about them being slightly more stressful than some of the other FANG companies, but they pay bank. So if that's your thing, go for it. One troll, but I don't care about trolls. Whatever, they don't bother me. I got this beard to protect me. Drewski says, struggling in coding bootcamp. Any advice? We are on React right now. I can only assume that you got thrown into the deep end, and I hope that I wish they had given you some more background to React. Because sure, you can like do React without knowing JavaScript, and I'm making an assumption that you don't have a full background in JavaScript. But React is much easier if you understand JavaScript. Chu Berry says, I'm a senior software engineer for a defense contractor thinking about going into the private sector. I would recommend going into private, but that's just my personal opinion. Game plan to learn R. Assuming R is your first language, learn a different language first. Go or Scala? I have no idea. I've never used either of them. Did you graduate from college? I did. I graduated with a degree in computational mathematics. I was a computer science. I was aiming to get a computer science degree, but I dropped out after the second semester because I was too dumb. I am kind of full stack, but mostly front end. Is FANG overrated? I don't know. I only have experience with big tech. It's been fantastic. I don't have too many bad things to say about big tech. What did I use to teach myself to code? So if you go all the way back in around 97, I started with Microsoft Front Page, which was a WYSIWYG editor, a what you see is what you get editor. And you like generate web pages using a UI, and then I would export the code as HTML, and then I would open the HTML code file in Notepad to see exactly how it worked. And then I did it over and over and over and over and over until not only I got it right, until I could not get it wrong. AMA means ask me anything. It is a term coined on Reddit. How do you get better at problem solving in computer science? This is a great question. Because it doesn't actually require knowledge about computer science or even coding for that matter. Getting better at problem solving is all about training your brain to think like a software engineer and logical thinking. And you can do that any way you prefer. That can be like music or math or coding if that's it, or like something that's completely different, like, I don't know, quilting. Anything that makes you like follow a series of steps to take a somewhat abstract problem and break it down into more manageable pieces. Sorry, I'm missing a lot of comments. They're going by really fast. Dudes Gone Wild said, what language should we start with first, assuming no experience whatsoever? I would probably recommend one of C#, Java, Python, or JavaScript/TypeScript. Malibu, what up? Good to see you. It's always good to see you. Yes, chess is another good one. I was in the chess club in high school. Geez, sorry. So many comments. LeetCode helps. LeetCode does help. I'm not a big fan of it. Why is JavaScript so hard? JavaScript is hard because it was built over a weekend back in the late 90s. It's come a long way since then. Modern JavaScript is quite nice. And when you pair it with TypeScript, it's an absolute wonder to work. What's my salary, if you don't mind me answering? I don't talk too much about salary, but it's over $300,000. Double Mike, when can I change jobs and not be called a job hopper? I think 4 years minimum, but that's just me. I spent 13 years at Microsoft, and I saw so many people come and go after 2 or 3 years, but that's just me. Coder says, do I still code every day as a principal engineer? I do, because I force myself to, because that's what I enjoy the most. Kari Mayak says, do you think big tech will ever stray away from LeetCode-esque interviews? I sure hope so, and it has to some extent, because I have been trying to move the needle a little bit, because I hate LeetCode style questions, especially on a whiteboard. The Blue Man says, nice beard, bro. Thanks. I grew it myself. Is a master's worth it? No, a master's is not worth it. Are you on blind? No. Well, I do it every now and then, but not really. Tunnel Under Ocean says, do you know anything about software sales? Not really. I steer clear of sales. How do you get your first job? Try and try again. Do you think you could pass 4 rounds of LeetCode? And an interview, maybe 2 or 3. In fact, if there was ever any hard question, I probably would not pass it because I explicitly don't try to solve hard questions. Oh, geez, lots of questions. What are the biggest hurdles for self-taught? Feeling like you're a fraud because you don't have a computer science degree. Best way to learn Python, there is a fantastic GitHub called 30 Days of Python for Absolute Beginners. I think it's something called like that. Just Google it. Would you consider yourself, oh, that scrolled away, I'm sorry. Is sysadmin a good job for the future? It is. Is UX research a fad? No. I think a master's is worth it if you focus on something specialized like AI. I agree with that. Liben HSN says, I am in tutorial hell. How can I get out of this? You need to build something. Forget the tutorials. I learn more by building something. Software bill of materials necessary. I don't know what that means. Does it matter where you do your bachelor from? Nope. Do you have any knowledge on bioinformatics? Nope. I'm a software engineer with 2 years of experience. I hate working from home. I apologize. I love working from home. Would I consider myself an expert on anything? No, I don't think anyone's an expert on anything. But if I had to say I was an expert on something, I would say like UI front-end software testing. How can I build a project if I always get stuck? Start smaller. Palantir, do I like? I don't know what Palantir is. What are you most proud of building? I am proud of building some internal tools that allowed other software engineers to do their work more efficiently and with more confidence. Any suggestion on learning JS and React? Yes, start with JavaScript and then either move to TypeScript after JavaScript or maybe doing TypeScript and React simultaneously. The comments are going really fast. I really apologize. What are some good projects you'd like to see on intern resumes? Anything that lets me know you've worked in any kind of team environment whatsoever. And that could either be McDonald's or like a group project at school. Is that a tuba in the back? No, it is a trombone, which is 1 octave above a tuba. I'm currently a website QA tester at Apple. I missed the rest of your comment, but that's awesome. Are you familiar with Kali Linux? No, I'm not a Linux guy. How can you instantiate an abstract class? You don't. I think learning Linux should come before programming. Nah, I don't know Linux at all, and I'm super successful. Any advice on self-taught route? Yes, I'm self-taught. Don't let the intrusive thoughts telling you that you're a fraud get you down. Thoughts on data engineering? None, sorry. What states are the best to live for programming? West Coast. How do you adapt to another company's tech stack when moving to another job? This one's difficult. I like to dive in right away. I like to get in the code. I like to enable the debugger. I like to step through line by line as high up as I can go. Meaning like the moment you launch the application, I want a breakpoint to hit. So I can step through line by line to see exactly what's happening before anything in the application is presented to the user. I got laid off as a SWE. I missed the rest of the comment. I really apologize. That sucks. Did college help me? It did. I had a math degree, and just the process of learning to solve math problems like undergraduate to almost graduate level math problems, trained my brain to think logically. Linux is my jam. That's awesome, Drewberry. I love it. Anything that is your jam, I love to hear. If you have a jam, that's great. What age did you get into tech? Let's see. It was 2007, so I was 25. I was not right out of college. Thoughts on what to do if you smell like beef? I mean, that's not a bad thing. Like smelling like beef is a nice thing. I wish they made cologne that smelled like beef. How do you grow such a luxurious beard? Never, ever, ever touch it. I mean, maybe trim like some like wiry ones, especially the white ones like me because I'm freaking old. But yeah, just never touch it. Hi, I'm a software engineer too. That scrolled off. I apologize. How do I advance from manual QA tester to developer? Speaking as someone who has managed a manual QA tester team of 5 to 6 vendors, the act of manually testing is not going to get you there. You have to go out of your way to learn like automated technologies, take some trainings, learn things like Selenium WebDriver or Cypress or Playwright or Puppeteer. You're never going to get there without those. Can an SWE be bad at math? Yes, they definitely can. You absolutely don't need to be good at math to be a software engineer. It can help, but other things can help too. Why TypeScript besides bug reduction? I just think it's more fun, to be honest. The act of like thinking about types just makes my brain release all these happy chemicals. It's fantastic. But yeah, it's all a matter of reducing risk when you're going to ship, and ideally minimizing the number of potential bugs that you can ship to customers. When did you start software development in life? It was about 2004 or so, or maybe even a little bit earlier. I did some like odd jobs at university, building web pages for some of the departments around campus, like ASWSU. I went to Washington State University, so like the student government, I made their website. Then I got a job working for the publishing department at WSU, making websites for departments all over the campus. Oh geez, way to keep motivated as a boot camp grad. I don't know, if you're getting denied because of your boot camp, or you feel it's because of your boot camp, I don't know, just be resilient and keep trying. I apologize, that's not a great answer. Is Jest sufficient to test app UI? No. I feel Jest is more for unit testing. You want to get further along the line and do more component and maybe functional testing too. And if it's a web application that's written in JavaScript, it's great to have your tests written in JavaScript too. So I would recommend Cypress or Puppeteer or Playwright or maybe Selenium WebDriver. Is 35 too old to try to break into the industry? It is not. My brother is a dev at eBay. The time wasted chasing bugs from other departments is insane. Yeah, that never ends. Like every now and then, sometimes more than every now and then, bugs come up that were introduced by other teams that you didn't even know existed that affect you. And you either need to like fix them yourself or go yell at them and tell them to revert the change or fix the problem. Go Cougs, that's right, go Cougs. I'm talking very fast. I apologize if it's hard to understand. Would ChatGPT take front-end jobs? If so, how long? No. ChatGPT cannot like investigate a like super flaky test failure in a functional test that only you and maybe 3 other people at your company understand. It might replace front-end engineers in the next 20 years, but I can't see the future. What do you think about data engineering? I don't really think about it. I don't know anything about data engineering. What's my domain lately? My team ships a JavaScript API to customers, and we build it in TypeScript. Jenkins for CI/CD? Hell no. Jenkins sucks. I'm having doubts. Should I really go self-taught or go to bootcamp or college? Start with self-taught and get a head start on a bootcamp. If you're having trouble getting hired as self-taught, then consider bootcamp. Remote or on-site as a junior? Both. Remote is great because like I think you can be pretty productive as remote, but spend at least 1 day a week in the office, assuming your team has some kind of agreed upon return to office agreement. Because if you're going to go to the office and sit by yourself, it's not going to be valuable to you. But if you're going to be surrounded by your senior devs, it's absolutely going to be more valuable than if you're just sitting at home. Do you think data engineering is future-proof? I don't know. No idea. Any legacy conversions? Yes, I've migrated many a legacy code base to a more modern code base. Software engineer job market is tough with all the layoffs. Any tips for someone who got laid off? I apologize. Network. Hopefully you have some LinkedIn friends at other companies that you can just use to ideally get a recommendation from them or a referral, because that is 90% of the battle. How hard is the level of entry for front-end development? I wouldn't say it's that hard. Good online JS courses for newbies. Check out Matt Pocock on Twitter. He is the king of TypeScript. And he has a fantastic TypeScript for beginners course. Matt Pocock, Pocock. Do you think AWS will aid me in software engineering? Yes. What are the highest paying CS jobs? I have no idea. Ever lie about your resume? Never. What do you prefer over Jenkins? Anything. GitLab CI, GitHub CI. How do I stop hyper-optimizing my code? It's preventing me from doing large projects. Relax. It doesn't need to be perfect. Software just has to ship. Software can have bugs. Software does have bugs. Ship it. Favorite cloud services. I worked at Microsoft for 13 years, so I would have to say Azure, but that's the only one I've ever used. Is cybersecurity a good job? Fantastic job. It's not going away anytime soon. It pays a ton of money. How old were you when you started your self-taught journey? 6. How old are you? I'm 40. What's your favorite JetBrains product? Probably IntelliJ, but I avoid it at all costs. I don't like Java very much. I got my first job. It's fully remote. How should I leverage this to get a new job? Don't fail at your current job and use it. Put it on your resume as something that you can use. What do you think about Tailwind? I've never tried it, but it sounds great. Favorite cloud and why? I just answered that. I like Azure because that's the only one I've ever used. Getting into tech still worth it? Absolutely. Opinions on QA. I started out as a software design engineer at Microsoft, so there's a special place in my heart for QA testing. It's fantastic. And I cannot ship software comfortably without doing proper QA testing. What's the biggest factor to making to PE? I don't know what PE, principal engineer maybe? Showing up every day and giving a crap. Worst leak code problem ever? All of them. Tailwind is GOAT. I'm going to have to check it out. I've heard lots of good stuff about it. Can you bluff your way to principal level in an interview? Absolutely not. Maybe if you were a senior, like halfway through senior, you could bluff your way. But if you were a junior, you're not getting hired at principal. It's not happening. What level did you leave Microsoft? I was 64. I was almost principal. In fact, my manager was trying to promote me, but there were some other circumstances that caused me to leave Microsoft. Have I used Blazor? Just a little bit. I did the tutorial and stuff. It was fantastic. Y'all need to like this live because that's what you're supposed to do when you do a live stream. You're supposed to ask all the viewers to like it and just like spam the screen. How do I get promoted as a junior? You need to start performing the duties of a mid-level for 3 to 6 months, and you need to be actively communicating to your manager that you want to be promoted and you need their help to do it. Any opinions on SDET? I started my first 7 years at Microsoft as an SDET. It's a highly underrated discipline, and I wish companies had more of them. Salary negotiation tips. Don't settle, especially if you're underrepresented in tech. Just say no. Just say no to the first one. Say, no, I was really looking for a signing bonus of 10% more. And the worst thing they can do is say no. They're not going to, especially if you already have the offer, then they're not going to rescind your offer if you say, I was really looking for 10% more. No. They're going to give it to you or they're not. SQL and C# enough for a long career? Yeah, it'll get you a long way. Maybe amend that with one more thing. Is 110 TC low in the Bay? I don't know. For maybe a junior, for a junior, probably. Do I freelance? I do not freelance. I'm going to take a wild guess and say you're in the Seattle area. I am. My shirt says, go Redmond. If you have any idea where Redmond is. What is success, failure in your work life? Failure is not an option. Failure is like getting 2 years into a project that like you knew was going to take at least 2 years and then giving up entirely. That's failure. Coding boot camp's worth it if you're not in a financial situation to get a 2 or 4 year degree, and you can properly vet the boot camp. And by vet, I mean not just buying any old random boot camp sold by some rando on TikTok, which would not be me because I will never sell y'all anything. Yeah, it's worth it. Best book to read in general? I don't know. Best book to read in general? I don't know. Best book to read in general? I don't know. There are mazes for programmers and the Ray Tracer Challenge. He walks you through building a ray tracer from scratch in any language you want. Also, like generating and solving mazes is the other one. What's the best DevOps book to read? I have no idea. You should follow Offending Commit on TikTok. He's my DevOps guru. What's your opinion on Power BI? It's fantastic. It's like industry leading. Yeah, it's good stuff. But there are other competitors that are also quite good. Have I read Clean Coder by Uncle Bob? I have not. How can I get into technical writing? I have no idea. Nathan says, just wanted to say you're awesome. I appreciate that. I try very, very, very hard. AWS or Azure? I only have experience with I only have experience with Azure, so I can't compare the two, but I love Azure. My favorite language is TypeScript, with a close second C# and JavaScript. Best ways to teach yourself, repetition and rewarding yourself. If you do good, reward yourself. Eat a cookie. Watch a movie. Take a break. Play some video games. Tableau versus Power BI. We're currently learning Tableau in class. Ping me on Discord. On my Discord, I will talk to you about Tableau more. What language do I use the most? TypeScript. What do you think about something that scrolled off the screen? What is the best mobile app framework? I have no idea. I love C#, even though your username is Java. What beard products do I use? I use some shampoo and conditioner, and I also use some wax and maybe some oil. And I blow dry, but I use some heat treatment on it so I don't fry the crap out of my beard. Although I didn't do it today because it's Sunday, because I don't care about Sundays. Welcome, newcomers. Hit that like button. You know you want to do it. Just do it. Just go like this on the screen and tap it. What do I think about long Adobe Flash stuck around? Flash is garbage. Get that shit out of here. What don't you like about Java? It is very similar. I mean, it's okay. Whenever I'm writing Java, I'm just thinking in C# and like translating. So like I can be somewhat productive. Look at all those likes. Holy crap. Coder G says, what are your side projects? I don't have any side projects really. I mean, a couple that I work on usually in December when I'm taking time off of work and I need to scratch that itch. So I need to write some code. I got two major ones, one of which is just a simple TypeScript project where I like made a little simulator for World of Warcraft healing. So it's a little web game. You can check it out on my GitHub. Another one is a WinForms C# application that interfaces with the Spotify REST APIs. So I can load up my playlists that I have in Spotify, but I can filter them like you can in iTunes. You guys use iTunes where you can like filter by artist and genre and year? I like having those filters, and it's really hard to do that on Spotify, so I wrote a tool to do that for me. Fart lies are okay. Says, I got a BS in biology, but want to switch to tech. Should I do another bachelor's or a master's? No, you should not. Do I code much? I do. I mostly manage people's projects and mostly help my engineers figure out what code to write, or more importantly, what code to not write. I try to code at least 1 to 4 hours a day. Can I make a crypto hack? No, I cannot. And nor would I want to. Man. Your boy Lewis asks, who am I DevOps guy? Offending Commit on TikTok. Also, if you join my Discord, there's a link in my bio. He's another administrator on it. CeeLo Green says, sick beard. Thanks. I grew it myself. Thoughts on FreeBSD? No thoughts. How much money do I make? A lot of money. Plenty of money. Plenty enough to be comfortable. So much money that I don't need to make any other money in any other way. MVC, Blazor, or WPF? I don't like WPF. I don't like the way it looks. MVC and Blazor. Do I have a degree? I do have a degree. I have a 4-year degree in computational mathematics. How good does your code need to be in order to get hired as a junior dev? Not great. In fact, it could be bad. I do not make 7 figures. Come on. No, you need to be like a distinguished engineer maybe, or like a CTO. It's not going to happen. My current car, I have a 2013 Audi S4 and a 2021 Audi Q7. I love them. I do not have multiple jobs. Is it better to have a portfolio, or can I just use a resume? Your resume should have something from a portfolio, which doesn't have to be great, but anything helps on a resume. Thoughts on people working 2 junior dev jobs at once? That's lame. I know it's hard, but like a junior dev job, unless you're like living in the Bay Area and working in the Bay Area, then yeah, don't do that. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to your company. What distinguishes an SE1 from an SE2? Mostly about just consistency. You need to be able to be somewhat self-sufficient. And once you become somewhat self-sufficient, and you don't need your hand held at all times, then you can be an SDE too. Do I suggest someone restart their career to become a software engineer? No, unless you hate your current career. Software engineering is great, and I think anyone can do it. DNN or MVC? I don't know what DNN is, sorry. Favorite subfield of math? I like calculus. I love calculus. And I like differential equations, graph theory, number theory, combinatorics. Do I leak code? Very rarely. I did a little bit of leak code when I was preparing for my interview a couple years ago, just to get my mind like kind of back into it. But I explicitly did not do any leak code hard problems, because if a company asked me a leak code hard problem in a interview process, I wouldn't want to work there in the first place. Is it better to learn CPP, C++, or Python? I would say Python. What programming languages are required? Required for what? Any programming language that's not esoteric is required. Thoughts on software salespeople? I have no idea. I don't work in sales. I can never be a salesman. I don't like sales, but I appreciate that they exist. Do you think you have time to play the game to move up? Or do you think you have to play the game? You absolutely have to play the game. I didn't play the game for many, many years, and my career progression probably was stunted because of it. You don't have to play it like a tool, but you have to play it a little bit. Play it to the extent that you're willing to. What programming language are you an expert in? I'm an expert in none of them, but I'm pretty good at C# and TypeScript and JavaScript. And by pretty good, I mean decent. Have you heard about proof assistance? Nope. Why do you not like a master's in CS? I never said I don't like it. It's just not necessary to get hired into big tech. What are interviews like for Principal SW? I have no idea. I've never interviewed at this level. I interviewed at senior level, and it was what you would expect. A few coding problems, system design problems, and a whole bunch of behavioral questions. Do I Angular? I've never done Angular. I've done a little bit, like one little training on it, but I haven't built anything production worthy in it. What do you mean by playing the game? So playing the game is all about like making yourself and the work that you do visible to the management and the leadership. So that's like your skip level, so your manager's manager and also the leadership team. Because when it comes time to have discussions about promotions, if the leadership team doesn't even know your name or what it is you've built or what kind of value you've provided to the company, it's going to be a lot harder for them to say, yeah, let's promote this guy. Communication is best. Yeah, that's part of the game. Just communicating, doing demos. If you ever have like some kind of like cross team or like org wide time or meeting where you can do demos on the stuff that you built, do it. Don't think about it, just do it. I know it's hard. I know it's like frustrating and it can be really stressful, but just do it. Push that button, that sign up list, put your name on it. I'm going to have a drink because I've been talking for like an hour. Virgil says, I love your beard. I don't know if you have a beard, but if you do, I would love it too. Welcome all you new folks. I'm going to do that like super cliche TikTok thing and tell you to like take your finger and like tap the screen. Because when you do that, like more people come. And that makes me feel better. It makes my brain like release dopamine. Careful drinking on camera. What's wrong with drinking on camera? It's water. Am I married? Why am I married? Should I go bring my wife in here and have her answer that question? How much do I make? Over $300,000. First language, Q Basic. Yeah, my first language ever was some version of Basic. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I was 6 years old at the time. I had I had computer class, if you will, in first grade, and there was a whole row of Apple IIe's, which was roughly 1988 or 1989. You can go to TikTok jail for drinking on camera. Okay, put me in jail. Tips on getting first jobs in tech. Be relentless and make sure you can back up what you put on your resume and don't lie. Mind mapping, how to start learning programming. I don't know what mind mapping is, but like just start. If you've written one line of code, even if it's like console.log, hello world, you are a programmer. Do they teach you on the job? Yes, kind of. There's plenty of opportunities to have trainings, both like brought in by the company itself or through things like Pluralsight. Many companies allow you to use Pluralsight for free, and they got tons of great stuff there. Also, if you're not learning on the job, you're doing it wrong. How do you back up what's on your resume? Don't lie and provide data. That's it. I'm an engineer at FANG. Very stressful couple of months. Still likely to be fired. Yeah, I survived, the first major layoff at my company, which was nice. And I've survived many other layoff rounds at other companies for whatever reason. I guess I'm doing something right. Where do I live? I live in Redmond, Washington, the home of Microsoft. How do you prepare for interviews? Spend 30% of the time focusing on coding and 70% of the time focusing on behavioral questions and learning about the company. Do I know COBOL? I do not. How much TC when you left Microsoft? I don't know. Probably around 250. Thoughts on category theory? Don't know what that is, sorry. First PC, I was 7 on an IBM. My first PC was a Macintosh Quadra 605. I don't know if you consider that a PC. But then my first Windows PC was a Sony Vaio, and it was awesome. Behavioral questions? Yeah, questions about how did you react in a stressful situation? Or how did you resolve some kind of interpersonal conflict on your team? What do you think of QA engineer? I love them. I think they should be paid more than software developers. How do you know you got the right answer? I mean, there's no wrong answers. You just be honest. I feel like coding questions are more important. Nope. Maybe for juniors, but if you're already a junior or maybe you're already a senior, behavioral all the way. Yeah, I went to college. I did 4 years at Washington State University. I studied computational mathematics. I use TypeScript the most. Should I get a master's in computer science? I'm a senior right now. No. I built a site in Heroku. Any advantage to redoing my site? Sorry, it scrolled away. Heroku's great. It's too bad they got rid of their free tier. Go Cougs is right. See how the women's basketball team won the whole thing? Pac-12? Go Cougs. How much do you need to like CS to be a software engineer? Not at all, but you're just not going to be very happy. Then again, you don't have to be a great coder to be a software engineer. You have to be an okay coder. You don't have to be a rock star by any means. You have to be able to code, and you have to be able to listen to feedback and learn. Can I move from IT to code at 40? Absolutely. What's my total comp? Over 300K. What's your favorite thing about working with designers? I like pretty things. I'm a front-end engineer, so I like shiny, pretty things that are pleasing to my eye and pleasing to customers and provide for an awesome user experience. So the fact that designers can do great things and do it in a way that I can translate it into code, I like working with them. Stuck on first tickets thoughts. You need to talk to your mentor or your senior engineers. It's their job to help you get through that first ticket. Am I good at lead code? I'm good at easies. I'm okay at mediums, but I don't even touch the hards because that's a waste of time. Why shouldn't I get a master's? Because I don't know, if you feel stuck or you personally want to get a master's, go for it. But absolutely not necessary to get hired in tech. What does my company do? A lot of stuff. It does everything. It's a big company. It's not Microsoft. It's not Apple. It's not Amazon. What's a realistic timeline to be over 150 as a software engineer? I don't know where you live. If you live in the Seattle area or the Bay Area, you can be making 150 immediately. Last time I interviewed, 2020. Do they ask leak code at your level? I wouldn't say leak code, but leak code-ish. Maybe anywhere between easy and medium for leak code. I wouldn't say master's is a waste of time, but it's not necessary. How long was my interview? Maybe 4 rounds of an hour, something like that. What kind of training do you recommend to get started? Whatever you prefer. If you like reading books, go for it. If you like watching videos, go for it. But absolutely, no matter what, President, thanks for the chili. You need to be building things. I think, at least for me, I learn the best when I'm actually building something, even if it's something stupid, like a clock or a calculator. You combine C# with TypeScript. They pair very well together because they're both built at Microsoft, and some could say that they're very similar languages, at least conceptually. I since I had a big background in C Sharp, TypeScript came very naturally to me. I am a QA engineer. Do you recommend ISTQB Cert? I have no idea what that is. My favorite food, king crab and then pizza. What company are you principal at? Scroll through my videos. You will find it. It's not Apple. It's not Amazon. It's not Microsoft. I have coded in Java. It's like C Sharp, but boring. I realize I don't actually like writing code. Any advice? If you don't enjoy writing code, you either need to learn how to enjoy writing code, and if you don't feel like you'll ever get to that step, you should consider being an engineering manager, or maybe a PM or a designer or something like that. Is it naive to not switch employers often? No, it's not naive. You can be plenty successful by not switching. You can switch if you don't like where you're working. Do you make over $250? I do. Best advice for a first-time intern? Yes. You need to actively be working with your mentor or manager to put together a timeline for whatever your intern is. Say it's 8 weeks. You need to have a week-by-week timeline so that you can deliver on those individual milestones every single week. And then if you ever feel like you're slipping or going too fast, you need to update that. And it's not a failure if you slip. That's what happens in software. And then you need to make sure your organization or company gives you the opportunity to demo the work that you did. Any negotiating tips? Yep, just say no. How do you mentor new developers? By being nice to them and remembering that you were once a new developer and you were scared out of your mind, and the senior developers made you even more scared. So you reassure them that you're actually a nice guy and the beard doesn't mean anything. How do you think a junior should be making in the Bay? How much do you think a junior should be making? I have no idea. I don't live in the Bay, but as a junior, 6 figures, absolute minimum. Python is amazing. Python is amazing. I seem super nice and helpful. Thanks. That's what I'm trying to do. Any interview tips? Yeah. First and foremost, especially for coding interviews, the only requirement I have is that you actively communicate your thought process while you're verifying and figuring out what the actual requirements of the problem are, and speaking to what your mind is thinking while you're solving the problem. If you just sit there and type the code and don't say anything at all, I'm going to be falling asleep. What's the workload like for a junior? Oh, I don't know. You're gonna take small stories and small bugs and stuff like that as part of your sprint, and your expectations are going to be pretty low. And you're also going to be expected to be working closely with your mentor or senior engineer. You also need to be communicating what your status is accurately. Don't say yeah, I'm doing just fine, making good progress, if you're really not. I would rather you be honest about it if you're struggling, so that I can spend time with you and help you. That's my job. My job is to help you grow. My job is to help a junior engineer become a senior engineer. That's it. Function promote. I am staff engineer. What is the best strategy to get a promotion? Whatever the next level is, and this goes for any stage in your career, whatever the next level is, you need to figure out what it is that they need to do and what their expectations are, and you need to start either doing them or start pretending like you know how to do them. I'm self-taught. Projects, comment scrolled off. I apologize. What about ChatGPT versus Stack Overflow? ChatGPT and AI in general is probably the future, and Stack Overflow is going to have to respond in some way, because ChatGPT has indexed Stack Overflow, or at least other AI tools like Bing Chat has. So am I going to go to Chat Overflow when I have a question, or Stack Overflow if I have a question, or am I just going to go to Bing Chat? Well, I might go to Bing Chat first, and if it solves my problem using the information it learned from Stack Overflow, I'm going to trust it. If not, I'll just go over to Stack Overflow. How much do I make? Question mark, question mark. I make a lot of money. What did my resume look like that appealed to Microsoft at the time? So Microsoft at the time, I was interviewing for a software design engineer and test position, but not a normal one, a trainee. Because at the time, Microsoft had a big lack of software testers, so they stood up a program called the Test Apprentice Program. So I interviewed for that, which hired people who did not have computer science degrees. They had degrees in math or physics or something like that. And then over the first 9 months, they trained them on the job for half their time to be a software design engineer and test. And then the other half of the time, we were like doing normal software design engineer and test things. How much money? A lot of money. Do you need a bachelor's degree to get a good job? Kind of. It helps, but no. 45, too old to transition. Never. No, there's no such thing as ageism in tech. Oh, there shouldn't be. I don't think there should be. M says, I'm not great at LeetCode at all. Is that a bad sign to get an internship? Easy LeetCode, if you're struggling with easy LeetCode, you should figure out what it is that's making it hard for you until you have a few aha moments, until you can be not proficient at easy LeetCode, but at least like able to work your way through some of the problem, or at least to like understand the problem. Principal engineer at what company? It's a big tech company. It's not Apple. It's not Microsoft. It's not Amazon. It's not Google. Best place to start. Currently in my first semester at a community college. You're doing it. Like, if that's in the cards for you, it's community college, which there's no shame in going to community college. I started at community college. You're doing great. Any certs you recommend for established STE? No. I've never looked into certifications whatsoever. Unless you're looking to get into some kind of specialization, forget it. How did you avoid becoming a manager? I just said no. Just say no. If you're asked to become a manager, or whether or not you have any interest in becoming a manager, just be honest. Now, if there's like some absolutely mission critical need at your business to like stand up a new team and they absolutely need a new manager and you're the only person that can do it, then like consider saying yes, but also like realize you have some power in the situation. You could say, hey, I'll do this, but two things need to happen. First of all, you need to reward me in some way. I need some kind of spot bonus or something. And second of all, if after 12 months or 6 months I don't like it, I can go back to becoming an IC with no repercussions whatsoever. Do I think growing up in the era of home computers like TRS-80 gave you an advantage? I understand computers. I know how computers work. I've been on the computer 12 hours a day since I was like 10. I know how to use a computer, any computer, like whatever. I might not be great at Linux or Mac or whatever, but I could figure it out. And like I see other people who I don't consider computer nerds, if you will. I don't judge them for it, but like it makes me question how they get anything done sometimes. Like, yeah. Is tech oversaturated? Nah. Generative AI, is it a fad? No, I don't think so. Crypto and NFTs was a fad. I don't think AI is a fad. Not when Microsoft has invested billions in it. No, it's not going to happen. These chats are great, thanks. Stevie, I appreciate that. It's late. I love doing these things. I have no idea how late I'm going to go. Maybe another hour or two. Do you think it's worth it to take linear algebra if you've never been good at math and LeetCode? I don't know. I mean, linear algebra is very helpful in many different things in computer science. I personally did not really like linear algebra. For whatever reason, it just felt kind of froofy to me. I liked more applied things, calculus, diffie-q, stuff like that. But yeah, it has a lot of value. Should I get my 4-year degree or 2-year? 4-year degree, but only because a lot of companies have automated processes in place that filter out anyone that doesn't have a 4-year degree. And that's an unfortunate fact. How long does it take for a self-taught in Swift, would you say? I mean, I don't think Swift has anything to do with it, but like to be self-taught, at least a year, 2 years. Do I ever suffer from imposter syndrome? A better question is, when do I not suffer from imposter syndrome? In fact, before I clicked the button to go live, my brain was like, what are you doing? You're a fraud. No one's going to want to listen to you talk. You have no idea what you're talking about. Just go to bed. No, the only way to like mitigate the symptoms of imposter syndrome is to talk about it, including what I'm doing right now. Thank you for all the likes. They're going like crazy. It's fantastic. I appreciate it. You guys are great. I love it. Do I have to be good at medium and hard LeetCode for software engineer? No. Maybe medium, but I wouldn't say good. You need to be able to solve some medium. Hard, unless you're like working into some kind of specialty, no. My favorite resources for learning algorithms, absolutely do something fun. And by fun, here's an example. Google for the Advent of Code. If you don't know what the Advent of Code is, it is a website where every single year there are 25 days of programming problems that require using some kind of algorithm or data structure or something to get an answer. Like, you're given a problem and it's very fun to do. Like, and you can use whatever programming language you want, and you just need to get the right answer. And then every single day it gets progressively harder and it builds off the previous days. And there are, I think, 6 or 7 years worth that you can go through. So that there's at least 100 problems, 100 days worth of problems that you could go through right now and do it in any language you want. So 2 years at Institution for Software Engineering versus boot camp. Can you get a good position? Yeah, you can. How many hours a day do I work? Anywhere between 4 and 12. Were you on a Google commercial? No. Went to a coding dojo in Bellevue and got absolutely melted during my first whiteboard interview. Yeah. Sorry about that. Do I have a master's? No. I was 3 semesters into my master's program in math, and I realized, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. It's, first of all, it's so hard. It's like a living nightmare. That's how hard it is. So I just quit, and there's no shame in that. I don't regret it in the least. Why does my program fail on Realec? I have no idea. Could computer engineer, electrical engineer majors become software engineers? Definitely. Yeah, those skills transfer directly. Are you in Seattle? No, I'm in Redmond. See my shirt? Go Redmond. What's my total comp? Over 300K. What mostly do they require if you are applying as a senior dev? A couple things. You need to have a tried and true way of showing that you've shipped software for roughly 10 years, a decade, and that you've worked in a team environment and you've helped not only your team succeed, but the individual members on your team succeed. Yeah, I got my degree in applied math, and I don't know if I want to keep going into a master's. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Once you get into like graduate level real analysis, matrix analysis, abstract algebra, your brain just melts. Advent of Code, yes. Go to adventofcode.com. I believe that's the domain. Moving back to Pierce County at the end of the month. I got homesick in Florida. Yeah, Pierce is good. I lived in Kitsap County for a long time. How do you approach a program not written by you and without documentation? You go find who wrote it and you kick them in the behind. But really, I try to set a breakpoint like as high up as I can. Like the moment the application launches, before it renders anything in the UI, set a breakpoint and just step through line by line until you have a firm understanding of what's happening. Best language for first job right now, JavaScript, Python, C#, Java maybe. Is 90,000 starting software engineer analyst good? Sounds okay. Sounds a little low, but maybe okay. You're welcome, Jamie. What did you do for your senior project? My senior project was to write some code that would solve any game of Minesweeper. Any dimensions of the grid. Figure it out and solve it as best as I could. So it would randomly click originally to figure out something. And if you've ever played Minesweeper on Windows, the first click can never be a bomb. And generally, like, you click on an empty area that exposes a large portion of the grid. And then it would calculate the percentage that any square on the border could possibly be a bomb and click the one with the least probability. Is it too late to start at 30? Nope. 30's young. Appreciate all the likes and the follows. You guys are fantastic. This is super fun. How is AI affecting software engineering? For a general software engineer who's not working in AI, personally speaking, I found it to be a pretty good tool to help me confirm the code that I want to write. And I personally use GitHub Copilot, and I don't use it as a tool to help me understand what I want to write, but to confirm the code that I'm just about to write. Which language do you know? I know C#, I know TypeScript, I know JavaScript, and HTML and CSS if you consider them languages. Thank you so much for your advice. Thanks, Alman. What do I make in a year? A lot of money. Do you ever go to the marina in Kirkland? Yep, I love Kirkland. I go there all the time. Do I know C? I started with C many years ago, 20 years ago, at least, more than 20 years ago. I don't really know it, and I don't really like it. How difficult is it to be hired as an engineer? It's hard. Do I invest? Yes, heavily. I'm not at Microsoft, but I was for over 13 years. What front-end frameworks or tools frustrate you the most? Front-end frameworks? Well, I'm currently building an application in React, and like I only have maybe a month or two of experience with React, and it's okay. It's a little complex, but yeah, it gets the job done, and like a lot of people know it, and it's good. It's a good thing to have on a resume. Do you think CS degree is worth it? Absolutely. Basic? I wrote Basic many years ago, but I don't do it anymore. In my front end or back end? Mostly front end. Heroku versus React? Is that what the question was? Was it versus React? That's apples and oranges. Like Heroku's great for if you need a deployment platform. React is great if you want to build a web application. React class-based or hooks? Functional components and hooks and Redux. Do I have any thoughts on Rust? Not really. I have one video where I wrote some Rust. I have a whole playlist where I wrote the same little program, and I think I'm up to 7 or 8 languages now. Python, C++, Rust, JavaScript, C#, Java, PowerShell. I wrote one in Rust, and it was a trip. How much math do you use on the job? It's not about using math. I don't use any math on the job, really. Math, and in general, math gets a bad rap because people think like, oh, I don't need math to do anything. Math is not about math. Math is about training your brain to think logically, to take a very abstract, complex problem and break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces, more digestible pieces that you can solve. And these skills transfer directly to software engineering. How do you go from senior to staff? Yeah, I talked to all the principal devs to figure out what it is that makes them tick. And then like I worked with my manager and discovered like my company literally has documents that say, hey, these are the things that we look for in principal engineers. And you don't need to tick all the boxes, but if you can tick 50% of them already at senior, then when it comes to time for the leadership team to determine whether or not you need to be promoted, their job's going to be a lot easier. Not only that, but there needs to be an open need, a business need, for there to be another principal dev at the company. And I don't know if I got lucky or whatever, but maybe a principal dev left at the time, and then they needed to fill his or her shoes or their shoes, and yeah, I got promoted that way. How much do I travel? I don't travel. Thanks everyone who's here. Wow, 227. This is the most I've ever had in a live. This is only my 5th live. I only started going live just a few days ago. It's fantastic. I don't know if I'll ever make another like non-live video again. This is so fun. Yeah. Why don't I travel? I just don't. Like I don't really have a need to travel. I work from home. Yeah. I go into the office maybe once every 2 weeks for sprint planning and sprint retro, and that gets the job done. Am I mostly remote? Yeah. Guys, fake your way into tech. Don't fake your way into tech. Unless you're really good at faking it, and really good at faking it while you're on the job, you're gonna have a bad time. JavaScript or Python would be better or more in demand. Either. Maybe JavaScript. Front end's not going away anytime soon. How did you learn to deal with office politics? Try not to play as much as you can. What's the most lucrative coding languages to know? Probably JavaScript. I do not work for Google. Man, I wish I was smacked and about to go to bed. I don't know what smacked means. Just stay up late with me. Am I good at math? Yes, I'm good at math. Not great at math, but I'm better than the average person at math. What do you think of crypto? Whatever. Don't care. Any comment about layoffs in IT? Yeah, it sucks. My manager, my direct manager was laid off the first day he came back from 6 months of paternity leave. Welcome back. You're laid off. It sucks. And I'm really mad at the CEOs of the big tech companies for doing this crap. Thanks, Frogman. I don't know if you make content too, but if you did, I'd love it too. Do I think tech layoffs will drop soon? No, there's going to be 1 or 2 more rounds. What time is it on my side? It is 11:26 p.m. I live in Redmond, Washington. When do you know if you know your language enough? If you feel comfortable writing a program from scratch without like struggling. 6 months of paid leave. Yeah, there was some kind of severance, and it was good. Like, sure, they were taken care of, but still, you don't want to lose your job. And if I got laid off and I got a severance, I wouldn't even care about the severance. Like I got plenty of savings. I can live for years on my savings. I don't care about that. I like to build things that make other people's lives easier. I like to solve problems. I like to help people. If someone took that away from me, I would be furious. How did you get started? I have been effectively sitting in front of a computer since I had one. Computers are the greatest thing in the world. They're so fun. They bring us all together. Without them, I wouldn't be able to talk to you all right now. Sorry, Bob Builder. Are interview algorithms relevant to jobs? Yes. Don't focus on them entirely, though. The hardest problem you're going to get in a coding interview will probably involve a simple to moderate algorithm, or maybe a data structure like a queue or a stack, something like that. So get to know like the basics of them, but you don't actually have to know them by name. If you can come up with them on the fly, not necessarily call them out by name, you'll be just fine. Does a beard help in an interview? I have no idea. Probably not. Probably just makes people think I'm weird. Lift my beard. There's my beard. Yes, it's real. It's real. It's a real beard. How good are you at trombone? I am quite good at the trombone. I've been playing for 30 years. I'm not great. I'm not a professional or anything like that, but I can play. What is beyond computers? I don't know. I don't know. I learned Python. Now what? Parent was something. Write your backend in Python. Write your front end in JavaScript. Would I ever consider going indie? No. Trombone does kick ass. It's the best brass instrument, if you ask me. Where do you see AI in the future? It's going to continue to grow. It's not a fad. I don't think it's a fad. I'm not just saying that because AI and ChatGPT and stuff is a meme on TikTok. I truly think it's going to be something. It's not just going to fade off into nothingness like NFTs. MongoDB Atlas, okay. I don't know what Atlas is, but MongoDB, yeah. How do I transpile React in a Node.js environment? How do you transpile it? TypeScript compiler, Babel, whatever your favorite is. Ex-principal software engineer at Amazon, but taking time off. How's the hiring scene for senior devs given layoffs? Senior devs, not as bad as junior devs, but still pretty bad for senior. But senior devs can work anywhere at any time. Have you played RuneScape? Not really. I played World of Warcraft for like 10 years. I haven't played it in about 10 years. I was in a roughly top 10 to 20 US rating guild around the time of Lich King. Best way to prep for front-end interviews? Yeah, like look at what's required. If it's like React, then like double up on your React. Or if it's like general React, Angular, Svelte, Knockout, general TypeScript, just like pick your favorite and focus on it. And ideally they allow you to interview using that tech stack. If they don't, then like that's really weird. Favorite video game currently? I'm currently playing Nuclear Throne. Spartacus says, good live, better than the others. The only thing that I do differently than others is talk as fast as I can. Stoneblock for survival? Yes, I love Stoneblock. Modern Minecraft in general. Stoneblock 1 and 2 are both great. One of my favorites. I have a degree in math. Would it be easy for me to learn to code? Yes, I have a degree in math. Math skills transfer directly to programming. Is it important to have a GitHub account to get hired? Not super important, but I absolutely love being able to click on a GitHub link and like look at someone's code, see how they think. But more importantly, like if they have it deployed somewhere, even to GitHub pages, I love like going to it and seeing what they built and clicking on stuff. How would you rate your social skills as a software engineer? Not fantastic, but pretty good. Thanks for all the likes, guys, and all the follows. Look at all these people. 250 people at 11:30 at night, at least for me, are up listening to some old fart talk about nothing. Is Java a good programming language? Yes. Vue.js versus React was the most preferred in the market. Probably React, but Vue.js is an up-and-comer. It's fantastic. I'm currently using Vite, V-I-T-E, which is a combination dev server and bundler. And it's written by the same guy who made Vue.js. I haven't used Vue.js, but if it's anything like Vite, I'm going to love it. When I say front end over back end, at least in terms of fun, yes. In terms of demand, I can't say. What's my opinion on layoffs? It sucks. Oh man, these comments are going crazy. What's my thoughts on Starlink? Starlink is great if you live in the country or if you need backup, or if you live in an RV. What makes a software engineer principal? It's not always experience, because there are plenty of people who have as much experience as I am in terms of time that are not principal. Principal is like someone who acts as a force multiplier for everyone on their team. Meaning, like, without me, maybe they're like operating at 100% efficiency, but with me, they're at 150 to 200% because I help them figure it out, what work they need to do, but more importantly, what work they shouldn't be doing, and what work the team should be focusing on for the highest return on investment. I apologize for the missed comments. They're really going fast. Wow. What do I think of UX design? Fantastic. Whose idea is satellite internet? I mean, there's a demand. Lots of people live remotely. They live in the middle of nowhere in rural areas. And you can get fast satellite internet and not have to use DSL. Sign me up. Do I know CSS in deep? I'm pretty good at CSS. I've been doing it forever, but I'm a little bit behind the times. I don't use too many modern CSS frameworks. The only one I'm currently using is TypeStyle, which is like a marriage between TypeScript and CSS. That's about it. It's very, very easy. The barrier of entry is very, very small. What was my first computer? My first family computer was a Macintosh Quadra 605 with an 80 megabyte hard drive. In fact, I keep a VM around just for fun to relive my childhood. How to go about getting your first internship? I'm assuming you're coming from a school. You absolutely have to attend your career fairs. Fond memories with Mac Quadra 605? Yes. Every memory I have with computer is fond. Are you excited for Orion CPU? I don't know what that is. It did have Oregon Trail. In fact, they had a handheld Oregon Trail game that you could buy at Target. I don't know if you can still buy it, but I bought it because I love Oregon Trail. Easiest way to get a junior development job with 2 years of software development at university. 2 years might be hard, especially if there are automated processes that filter out people who don't have 4-year degrees. But it's all about like being persistent. Josh says, I'm 41. Is it too late to switch careers in a few years? No. What are the best languages to land a full stack position? C#, Java, Python, JavaScript. I once saw Gabe Newell spill ice cream on his shirt at Lincoln Square and rage LOL super random. Dude, I wish I could have been there. Not only because I'd love to meet Gabe, but that's hilarious. I have a few good memories of Ballmer and Bill Gates, but no like worthy of spilling ice cream on themselves. Do you ever consider going into engineering management? No. I've been asked many, many times to see whether or not I have any interest of becoming a manager. The answer is always the same. Nope, I like being an IC. What do you think about program? Sorry, the comment scrolled off. Where to start as a completely beginner who is broke? If you're broke, then like you're gonna have trouble, paying for courses and boot camps and stuff like that. So YouTube is your friend. Is Austin a good spot for new grads? Yep. 4-year degree, boot camp, self-taught. Sorry, it scrolled off. What do you think of program and project management? It's very, very difficult to build software without them. They shelter software engineers from so much crap that comes spewing from customers. And if you're a customer of a software engineering program, I apologize. But yeah. I am 40. Can I start web dev and find work? Of course. What was your first job? My first job, if you really want to know, my first job was delivering papers. But my first software engineering job was I worked for the publishing department at the university that I went to. We built websites for different departments on campus. We had a in-house CMS that we built in ASP.NET, and I made sure the websites looked good in IE6. Do I let politics get involved? Work? Try not to let politics get involved. One of the things I pride myself on is keeping a level head and keeping emotions out of things because they just get in the way and cloud your judgment. Have I ever thought about changing career fields? No. I mean, yes, but not from computer science to computer engineering. Maybe from computer science to raising goats. Thoughts on Dex2Jar? I don't know what Dex2Jar is. I'm assuming it's some kind of Java thing? Like a Java jar? When should I consider switching jobs or companies? Depends on your financial situation, because you absolutely can improve your financial situation by changing jobs. But if you don't care about that kind of thing, then I would say when you start getting pissed off and you regret going to work every day. It decompiles APKs, Android apps. Okay, cool. I have no education, taught myself some minimal Unreal stuff. I make 140K. That's awesome. I missed your username, but I love it. Thoughts on SWE to cybersecurity? Yeah, there's like essentially a pipeline from SWE to cybersecurity, as long as you like enjoy cybersecurity. I personally don't really like it. I'm glad people do, because it's not really my thing. How do you keep yourself from going crazy? By logging off. Click the log off button. Uninstall Outlook from your phone. Uninstall Teams, uninstall Slack. Just turn it off. What's a good entry-level job? Oh, that's a comment to someone else, sorry. Any studying tips? How often do you study? I don't study because like I'm kind of out of school, but if I ever need to learn a new tech stack or language or something like that for work, I'm not a big fan of learning on the job. So I'll spend some time at home building something fun or solving some kind of personal problem that I have using that tech stack. Because it's a lot more fun to learn when you're doing something entertaining. I code for fun a little bit outside of work, but mostly my brain is pretty fried when I'm done with work. In December, when I take most of December off from work, I'll find myself coding. Has my career been satisfying? For the most part, both like personally, like I take great satisfaction in knowing that the work that I do helps other people either do their job or stay in contact with their friends and family, that kind of thing. I love to hear the stories that people share about when they've had to use my products. It's also, of course, financially satisfying. I listen to music. Yes, I do. I have several Spotify playlists that I curate. Depends on my mood. I have like some like 90s playlists or like more ambient, electronic music, chill stuff, chill hop, funk, electro funk. How do you know if you're good enough to start applying? That's a hard question because like when you look at a job listing, a lot of the times you see this huge list of requirements. Well, the first thing you need to do is realize that that's not a list of requirements. It's a list of wants from the hiring manager. And you absolutely do not need to tick all those boxes. You need to tick at least one or even zero. If you want to apply to a job, you just do it. I mean, it's not like 1 hour of interviews or 2 hours of interviews is nothing compared to like the amount of time and effort it takes to like try to fill an interview loop with senior engineers. So like go for it. What's my favorite language for quick and dirty prototypes? C# or TypeScript. Do I speak at conferences or meetups? I don't, although like maybe I should. It's kind of fun. I like talking to people. Yeah, one of the things that is preventative towards newer people, younger people, and marginalized groups when applying to jobs is getting like overwhelmed with that list of what they feel are requirements in job listings. They aren't. They're going to say, oh, I don't tick any of those boxes, or I only tick 50% of those boxes. They'd rather have somebody who ticks all of them. Meanwhile, like lame white guys like me are going to be like, I tick one of those boxes. I deserve this job. I wouldn't think that, but like, there are lots of guys who would think that. Yeah. Am I welcome as a senior tester? You are. You're more than welcome. In fact, I started out as a software tester. First 7 years of my career, I was a software tester at Microsoft. And sometimes I wish I still was that. But Microsoft, in their supreme wisdom, figured it was a good idea to kill off that role in 2014. Do I go on work trips? Not very often, although I've been thinking about it lately. Thanks to everyone for liking and following and all that nonsense. I know I'm supposed to say things like that while doing a live, because if I don't, is it actually alive? How's my template? I just made this template. Like, see how it's like blue on the left and the text on the text, and like the chat is like down here. I think I did a pretty good job. I used paint.net. You guys ever use paint.net? My roommate in college made paint.net. If you don't believe me, I can prove it. His name is Rick. He wrote paint.net. It's fantastic. You should download it. Dawn says, I'm about to graduate as a data scientist. Should I accept a job as an ERP consultant? I don't know what ERP means. Sorry. Yeah. Starkeyum, use it every day. Fantastic. It's great. It's essentially free. The version on Windows Store is like $10, but like the version on getpaint.net is free. And I wouldn't say it's as good as Photoshop, but it's pretty darn good. Getpaint.net. Thoughts on job hopping? I personally didn't do it, but it's not because I didn't want to. It's because I didn't understand or realize that I had the option to job hop. And I know people do it a lot. If you're a new engineer, if you do it after 1 or 2 years of a junior engineer, I'm going to judge you. But if it's 3 or 4 years, I'm not going to judge you. More power to you. Do it. Because like not job hopping for financial reasons or whatever, it only like benefits the company. And like screw the company. The company's going to be fine without you. Do I do packet tracers? Not like packets. I don't do network sniffing at that low level, but I absolutely will do like HTTP traffic sniffing using either the network tab in the dev tools in the browser or tools like Fiddler or Postman. If you're a front-end engineer, you absolutely need to understand the HTTP network layer and how to like understand what a network trace means and what the HTTP response codes are and what responses are and how to like decrypt SSL traffic. You got to do it. Dunson, sorry, I want to help, man, but I don't know anything about that. Yeah, Postman is great. There's actually a few people who work at Postman who make content here on TikTok. What's the most essential for finding an internship? What do I need on my resume? Not much. Just a like, maybe your GPA and your estimated date where you're going to graduate from college. And maybe like if you had some kind of project, I don't know, if you're not a senior yet, so any kind of project or personal project would help. What do I actually do in software engineering? I do a lot of stuff. I do the conventional like write code and fix bugs and write tests and ship software. But I also help other people on my team to be successful. Because like, if I'm not helping my teammates be successful, I'm failing and the team is failing and the company is going to suffer for it. So my job is to like be a force multiplier for the folks on my team. When do you start feeling like a working professional in my career? If you ever like take your job that seriously, I don't know. I understand that I am a working professional, but like, come on. I don't take anything that seriously. Leak code interviews, I freaking hate them. They should like die in a dumpster fire where they belong. How do I prepare for mock interviews? I've never taken a mock interview, but I would probably prepare for them the same way I would any other interview. How do you get over imposter syndrome? I have a lot of thoughts about imposter syndrome because I have imposter syndrome all the time, including right now. The only way I can get over imposter syndrome is by talking about it. And one of the reasons why I started making content here on TikTok is to talk about imposter syndrome. So thank you for asking the question. It actually helped me like mitigate some of the symptoms of imposter syndrome. Advice for full stack developers. I don't know. Find a specialty. Like if you don't mind like doing both front end and back end, focus your efforts equally. But if you prefer front end, even though like your job says full stack, try to position yourself so you're doing more of one or the other. If you would be hiring, what would you pay attention to? Things I care about the most during the interview process while you're doing the coding problem. I care less about you getting the right answer and more about you talking to me. And like, I want to know what's going through your mind while you're solving the problem. I also want to know that you fully understand the problem. But remember that my problem that I ask is intentionally somewhat vague. So I want you to be asking questions like, what did you mean by this? What about this thing? What should I do in this case? And then I'll say, oh, glad you asked. I'll let you know. I do not live in Canada. I live in Redmond, Washington. Go Redmond. Is it normal to always feel lost? It is. Start first-time software engineering job next. Sorry, the comment scrolled off. Web dev is all about something filling squares with data. No, that's not true. If you could tell your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? Relax. Understand that absolutely no one in software engineering has any idea what they're doing ever. Everybody's making it up as they go along, including myself. You were born in Redmond? Awesome. Would you say repeating the same code, then deviate a little to get better? Yep. Repetition is key, and rewarding yourself for success is also key. What good coding practice do you disagree with? I don't know. One thing I see a lot of people doing is like on an if statement. We'll go really simple. If you have a one-line if statement, should you put brackets beneath that if statement? My answer is yes, always. Just ask Apple how that worked out for them. Hey y'all, welcome to the live. Can't believe there's over 200 people there. This is the part of the live where I behoove you to tap your screen and click like, because that's apparently what you're supposed to do when you go live. Do you think there's more growth as specialist or generalist? Generalist. Thank you for the likes. They make my heart beat. Brackets for readability. Yep. Also, I don't give a shit whether or not they're on the same line or the next line. All I care about is that your team agrees on it. And you have automated processes in place, static analysis tools that force you to do it the same way every time. Ideally, in an IDE that automatically does it and formats your code for you when you save. So for example, if you're using VS Code and you've installed Prettier and ESLint, you've configured them in a way that when you save your file, it automatically formats them. Because the last thing I want to do in a code review is be like, dude, this bracket is supposed to be on the next line. It's not worth my time and it's not worth your time. How can I get good internships? Go to hiring events at your university. Why did you leave WWE? I'm assuming I look like some wrestler and I maybe have some idea of who it might be. I don't really follow wrestling much anymore, but I like to think I look like Tom Green. My bum is on the TikTok. Yeah, bike shedding does nothing for the team. Yep. Look at these roses. Look at y'all giving me money. Why would you give me money? I don't need any money. I like those pennies though. Pennies from heaven. Tips for first software engineering job. Yes. Don't be scared of your senior engineers. Their job is to help you. And if they make you feel scared or they deride you in some way, you need to talk to your manager because their job is to make sure that the senior engineers are helping you properly. We trying to build you a garden. Yes. Plant those roses. Let's go. How to grow as a leader. Listen to the people that you're trying to lead. Am I passionate about software engineering or just doing it as a job? Both. I love software engineering. I don't like all the politics, but I like writing code to tell a computer what to do, to make pretty things so people can get either their jobs done faster or find some kind of enjoyment. Can you discuss self-taught route? I mean, I can discuss my self-taught route, which was do what you love. And if you can train your brain to love writing code, then you're never going to have a bad day in your life. Well, not many at least. Having a beard as a software engineer shows you have a job. Yes, do you guys want to know I have this beard? So when I first started making content on TikTok, I trimmed my beard. I had a little bit of one because my face is stupid. But then it just kept growing and growing. And I'm supremely lazy. And I thought, hey, maybe I can use this to my advantage. That I can be that weird guy on TikTok that has a beard. And so set myself out in some way. I like being honest. I'm an honest guy. I like to be honest at work. I like to be honest on TikTok. I don't like to hide too many things. Personally, I like to be the same person I am at home that I am at work. It just makes my life easier. Can I mentor me? Not officially. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't have time for it. I apologize. I want to help you. If you got hired at my company, I would absolutely mentor you. This is probably the closest thing I can do to mentor people. Or if you join the Discord link in my bio. I've got a bunch of folks there. It's not my Discord. It is a Discord that me and other tech content creators on TikTok created together so that we can just chill and talk about code and talk about TikTok and have a good time. What's my stack? TypeScript, C++, Java, a little bit of C#. I think being lazy is a good, I scrolled off, but yes, being lazy is absolutely a good trait because a lazy programmer isn't going to do work that they shouldn't be doing. And you get really, really good at identifying work that is either destined to fail or like doesn't have a good return on investment, both for you and your career progression or for the company. Can I still get an interview at Microsoft after graduating with no experience? Yes. Maybe not right now. Like, I'm not sure. I can't speak for Microsoft, but I know the higher end environment is generally not great for junior engineers. Yeah. It is good you complain, but it's okay if you complain, but you have to have two things. You got to have data to back up your complaints, and you also have to have solutions to your problems that you're bringing up. Have I used Jira? I've never used Jira, but I've used TFS, and I love TFS. John Paul says, CSS, C++, HTML, JavaScript, Java, Python, Linux. Yeah, you're set for life, at least until you retire. Any advice for fresh comp sci grad? I mean, not in particular, mostly just like make sure that your resume looks pretty and that you're approachable and nice and you have at least one personal project on there that I can look at. Yes, when I'm in a good mood, I go to Stack Overflow to bring me back down to earth. Yeah, Stack Overflow is kind of a black hole. What do I make comp-wise? Over 300,000. Should I put old projects from school? If you have any projects over 10 years old, leave them off. Where am I from? I am from Redmond, Washington. Redmond. Any interest in ERP development? I don't know what that is, so probably not. User 999 says, every morning I come in and my boss has a binary tree I have to invert by hand. Any tips? Yes, wake up from your fantasy. And I come in and my boss has a binary tree I have to invert by hand. Any tips? Yes, wake up from your fantasy. Percentage of that comp is cash versus equity. It's mostly cash. Not entirely. I'm not sure exactly. I don't even know. Maybe 2/3 cash-ish, maybe? How good is it having research experience with code versus personal coding projects? I don't know what research experience with code means. I played trombone. That's awesome. Do I speak Ukrainian? I don't. Where did I go to school? Washington State University. Any advice or exercises for beginners in Java? Yeah. Just just do it. Just write code. Don't stop writing code. If you feel like you want to stop writing code, don't stop. Keep going. How can you excel as a new grad? Relax. Ask for help. Ask lots of questions. Never stop asking questions. Don't ask the same question twice. Don't ask the same type of question twice. Find a good way to remember the answers that your senior devs give you, whether that's writing it down on a sticky note or in a document. Thoughts on WSU? Did I like their program? I did not go to WSU for the computer science program. I started as a computer science, but I realized I didn't like it and I liked math more. What language should I learn first? The one that you enjoy. Start with JavaScript or maybe Python or C# or Java. Find the one that you like the most. I use TypeScript and C++ and C# and a little bit of Java. PHP or JavaScript? JavaScript. How do you comment code? Do not, under any circumstance, write exactly what the code is doing. Like if you are incrementing a counter for a loop, do not write increment index by 1. If you do that, I will yell at you. Comment your code in a way that is more like when an archaeologist finds this code and you're doing something that's non-obvious, put a comment that explains exactly what was going through your head at the time when you wrote that code and for what reason. And maybe if there's like a certain bug that caused you to write the code in that way, put a link to that bug. Or put a link to that Stack Overflow. Or put a link to that forum post that describes like, what the heck, why did you write the code this way? What AI would you recommend to better my resume? I don't know. What difference between a programmer and an engineer in web development? For example? Nothing. I mean, every software engineer starts out as a programmer, almost always. Do you make phone apps? No. How much do you make? A lot. Do you skip integration tests for front end? Never. Do you prefer writing APIs or event processors? APIs. What's the expectation for React? Understand the hooks, the general hooks. Understand the rendering loop. Know what strict mode is. How to switch from JavaScript to C# quick. If you know JavaScript, you're going to be just fine at C#. I wish I can grow my beard like that. You can. Just don't cut it. Never. If you think about cutting it, tie your hands behind your back. Can you do lives more often? Yes, I can. In fact, doing lives has been so rewarding. Both like, it's been so much fun. And like, if you consider follower count increases as a metric, then yeah, I never want to make a non-live ever again. Do you guys have, it takes a lot of work to make the kinds of videos that I do on TikTok. Because my personality is like, I don't do the low effort stuff really. I don't do the memes and stuff. I'm too old for any of that stuff. Every video that I made generally takes 1 to 4 hours of preparation, coding, recording, and editing. Could more diverse teams with less coding skills ever achieve better things? Yes. Coding skills are fine, but like you absolutely don't need to be a rock star to be successful. Do you see more single line or multi-line comments? Both. They both have their place. Single line when it fits within 80 characters, or if you need to like write a book. By a book, I mean like you really need to like understand what this code is and why it is. Perfectly fine to do multi-line. But I try to avoid multi-line as possible because if you ever felt the need to write a multi-line comment, you should like double check the code because like most code shouldn't require a multi-line comment. Can I go into depth on sorry, it scrolled off. I don't want to scroll because I got my phone on this stupid mount and when I scroll it, the whole phone bounces around. I don't want to jump around. Sorry. My favorite programming language is either TypeScript, JavaScript, or C# because it's super fun to write those because you don't have to think too much. Do I have autism? I don't think so. Maybe. Undiagnosed if I do. What's this difference between a software developer and a software engineer? Nothing. Can I create a login system tutorial? Maybe. So when I worked at Microsoft, my team built the login system for Microsoft account. Like when you sign in to Outlook Web and you go to enter your username and password, my team made that. I helped write that and test it. Do I know what Delphi is? I recognize the name, but I never worked with it. What's the best free learning platforms? I have no idea. People say Free Coding Camp, but like, I really apologize. I'm super old. I'm so far removed from that kind of stuff. Do I need a degree to get into software engineering? You do not. In fact, I do not have a computer science degree. The only thing that might prevent you from getting into it are any automated processes that filter out your resume for anyone who either doesn't have a 4-year degree or a degree in computer science. What's the difference between coding for school and work? School is more about like teaching you how to think and how to solve simple problems and not necessarily working in a team. Working for work, it's absolutely a team sport. It's like the difference between you going out on the basketball court by yourself and shooting free throws or playing in the NBA. Does C# help you get a job? Yes. C# is not the old boring language that our grandparents wrote. C# is fantastic in this day and age. You can never go wrong learning C#, both in terms of like using it as a tool or a mechanism to get you a job. But if you can learn C#, you can learn any other language. How scalable is SQLite? I don't know. How old am I? 40? Graduated from boot camp in October, still looking for a job. Any tips in this market? Not really. I mean, it sucks right now for anyone trying to get a junior engineer degree right now, or junior engineer position right now. Where can I get a KYC script? I don't know what that is. ChatGPT really going to replace developers? No. It's going to be a tool maybe to help developers be more productive, but that's probably it, at least in the next 5-10 years. What was the most you made in a year? I think about 400,000. Heard C# has a front-end tool. Yeah, Blazor. How's the front-end market? It's great. How did you get started from scratch? Just do it. Repetition. Oh my gosh, these comments. They're going so fast. Do I ever use calculus for work? No, but I use the tools I learned to solve triple integrals. Not directly, but the problem solving alone helps me every single day. Steps to learn Solidity. I don't know what that is. So how did you get started from scratch? I just started. You know, like just at the time, I just looked to see how other people did things. Like I'd be online, I'd download a web page, I'd go onto GeoCities. You guys remember GeoCities? I would download a GeoCities HTML file and look, what did they do to make what I'm seeing on the screen work? Have a nice day. Thanks. How long does it take to learn C++? 6 months to a year. Just realized you look like Chris Robinson. You know, every single live, someone's like, you look like this person. You look like this person. And like 9 times out of 10, I have no idea who that person is, but I appreciate it. If you say I look like John Lennon, I take that as a compliment. 400,000. Can I be your driver for work or help carry your laptop? No, because I'm not better than anyone. I'll drive you to work. I do not have a YouTube channel other than once this live is done, I'm going to download it and upload it to my YouTube or my TikTok live archive playlist on YouTube. There's a link in my bio if you want to check it out. How long does it take to learn C#? 6 months to a year. ChatGPT taking my job. No, it's not. Any tips on getting through calculus? Go to your office hours for your professor or your TA and just be relentless and ask questions. It's going to click. Hey, I'm in community college. Good projects to add to portfolio. Why is the industry so toxic? It's not. I mean, there's plenty of toxic places, but like a lot of places are not toxic at all. Like I've worked in big tech for over 16 years. Like I haven't felt like a toxic work environment for the most part. I am really funny, more like funny looking. Thanks, Sunshine. Have I tried game dev? Not really. I've written a few like little games, but like nothing that I could like market or whatever. How much to develop? Oh, sorry, comment scrolled off. Where can I get a free script for my project? Nowhere. How many times have you hacked the Gibsons? I don't know what that means. How's my work-life balance? It's pretty good right now, although I've taken steps to improve it because my work-life balance when I was at Microsoft was not great for a couple of reasons. And the only way that you're going to improve your situation when you've identified the fact that you're in a bad situation is by making steps to improve it. So I left. Is a portfolio absolutely necessary for a hire? No, but it helps. Can you cruise at the principal level? Yep. I don't think you should. What skills are you looking for from a senior dev? I want you to be able to take a full-fledged feature, not necessarily an entire product, but a feature in a project, a large one, that when given to you is not completely finalized. Like there's a lot of questions about it. It's an abstract problem that needs to be solved. And you need to figure out not only the problem that needs to be solved, but how you're going to solve it. And I'm not going to do that for you. I'm going to help you along the way, especially if you have questions, but you need to do it yourself. Is it all right to be afraid of networks? Sorry, that scrolled off. If you mean like computer networks, no, I'm scared of networks. Your beard is fire. Hopefully not on fire, but thank you. On the flip side, are you looking for a junior? A junior is someone who is nice and willing to learn and like asks questions and gets better at asking questions over time and is not afraid to like be wrong and not afraid to fail. Because like we've all failed. I've failed many, many times. And one of the best ways to learn what not to do is by failing. What skills do I need? Something. Why wouldn't you cruise? Companies don't care about you. Why wouldn't I cruise? Because I care about the people I work with, and it's not fair to them if I don't give a shit about them. I could care less about the company. The company's going to be fine. It's personally rewarding for me to help people succeed. That's why I'm doing this live. Are the best languages for front-end web development still HTML, JavaScript, and CSS? Those are your foundation. And they're not super necessary. Like you don't absolutely need to be a rockstar in HTML and CSS, but it's going to help, especially if you're writing React or JSX or TSX. And CSS, yeah, it's good to understand CSS at least. Yeah, cruising principal is the worst, yeah. A cruising junior is fine, like whatever. But how's the front end market? It's good. How was your on-call experience at Microsoft? It was a nightmare. I was also in a very unique position at Microsoft. For whatever reason, I was the only person on the entire org that got put onto 2 separate on-call rotations at the same time. I was senior level and I was working on multiple projects, and for whatever reason, like I got put on this one on-call rotation. I'm just going to say what it was. It was for Azure Active Directory, the identity system at Azure Active Directory. So like if you're trying to sign into Azure Portal and you go to sign in and you enter your username and password and it doesn't work for some reason, I would get a phone call. It was super stressful. And I was also on call for another somewhat smaller service, but also incredibly popular, used by hundreds of millions of people at the same time, sometimes overlapping. And no matter how much I complained and told my managers, hey, this is unsustainable, and also my coworkers knew this, and they were trying to help me too. I don't know why, they just weren't willing to help me. So I left. I don't do embedded stuff, no. Yeah, it was terrible. Yep. What's the best way to get a US job as a foreigner? I have no idea. I apologize. I'm not a foreigner. How many hours a week do you work? Anywhere between 30 and 60 hours. Your favorite company you worked in? I don't know. Like, I liked working at Microsoft. It was a great job. It was a fantastic job. I loved it. It's come a long way since the days of Ballmer and Bill G. It was very rewarding in many different aspects, and I had no intentions of leaving whatsoever. Thoughts on Capital One? Nope. I don't know. I don't know. What is the salary like? It's high. How to tell people nicely that there's no magic in IT? No, there's plenty of magic in IT. People do things without knowing exactly how they work and like cross their fingers that they're going to work. That's magic. And it works sometimes. 16 years in big tech, that's just enough experience to be a junior. What? If I was a junior right now, the company would have failed because they should have fired me a long time ago. I don't use C# for my backend, no. Do you know anything about ServiceNow? I do not. What is something that only experience can show you? Knowing what not to do. How soon will machine learning lead to the first self-aware AI? I have no idea. 50 years? I have no idea. Salary? Over 300,000. Why are there more built-in objects to call on in languages? I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask the people who write languages. I'm not one of them. Do you need a degree? It seems so hard. Not smart enough. Nope. I don't have a CS degree. I love GitHub Copilot. I use it as a tool to help me confirm the code I'm about to write, not tell me what code I need to write. I don't trust it. Just like I wouldn't trust a self-driving car to tell me how to drive. Is there a big difference between salary of a dev and a tester? I don't know. Like tester is kind of vague because there's like different kinds of testers. There's like manual testers, there's QA testers, but then there's software design engineers that are testers. And they generally have the same salaries, but like the lower manual testers, there's definitely a big difference. Self-employed or employed? I'm employed by a very large software company. It's not Apple or Google or Microsoft or Amazon, but it's very large. Any recommendations in books? Yes. The author is Jameis Buck. He writes books that make writing code fun, like how you can build code that will generate and solve mazes, or write your own ray tracer in any programming language that you want. No, it's not Meta. I would never work at Meta because Facebook is a pile of garbage. And anyone who works at Facebook should feel ashamed. That's my only hot take. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. The author is Jameis Buck. Jamis. Buck. It rhymes with ruck. Or tuck. Do I need a certificate to be a software developer? No. Is assembly language still a thing? It is. I don't know anybody who writes in it. I'm funny and honest. Well, I try to be honest. I don't know about funny. Maybe just funny looking. What is a variable? You can Google that. Sorry. What would you say is the best general purpose language? General purpose? I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with C#. Java or front end? Front end. How good at math do I need to be? Not at all. Have a good one. Anyone? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's pretty brutal about Facebook. No, Facebook, it was super fun when it first came out, whatever it was, 20 years ago. But now Facebook is, it's a mechanism to keep people addicted to their phones in any means possible. They don't care. Facebook is all about increasing engagement no matter what. It's unethical. I left Facebook about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. C# or Java? I'd probably say C#, but Java's not bad. Best school to learn? I have no idea. Yeah, Meta is evil. It's an evil company. I still use Messenger, although I should probably move off of it. But I have a few friends whose only communication channel with them I have is Messenger. So you pick and choose your battles, right? I'm not that, I don't care that much. PWA's future, I don't know. What's the language I started with? HTML, if you want to call that a language. If you don't call it a language, it would have been C. Not C++, C. How did I learn? Repetition. And when I got something right, I rewarded myself with a break or a cookie or some ice cream. And I conditioned my brain to like coding. Do I like TikTok? I do not like the concept of TikTok, but I like TikTok. I like how it's kind of, it's less formal. And I like things that are less formal. If I made content on YouTube, I feel like I'd really have to prepare a lot. And that's not to say I don't do some amount of preparing for my videos on TikTok. But YouTube, the only benefit to YouTube is that I'd be able to record my screen in landscape. Do you guys have any idea how hard it is to make coding content in portrait mode? It's impossible. Favorite CLCI? I don't know. I like GitLab. Thanks for the likes. Holy crap. Look at this. Look at this. Is CRUD bad? No, it's great. First tech job, Microsoft. Is it easy to transition from systems, network administration to software engineering? Probably not. Avoid W3 schools. W3 schools is garbage. Somebody sent me some kind of thing. Alan Fung? I don't know, but thank you. I don't know what that means. I'm rich. How to start. Look up tutorials on YouTube. How to learn to program. Holy crap. You guys, stop. No, stop. I'm being that... You're making it hard to pay attention to chat. Here's the thing. I'm going to be candid with y'all. I was in the TikTok Creator Fund for a little while. I had maybe 10 to 15,000 followers at that point. I was thinking, hey, I can make some money. Maybe make some extra spending cash. I don't know if you know, but the Creator Fund, hopefully I don't get banned or whatever for this, but it's offensive how little they pay you. It's not even worth the time it would take me to claim the money on my taxes to accept the money. But I appreciate the gifts. I like seeing the shiny things. Have I ever considered transitioning laterally to a manager role? Yeah. I've considered it many times. In fact, I made some videos about it. I'd never planned to move away from being an IC because that's what I like doing. And I don't think I would make a very good manager. I could do it, but it doesn't make my brain release the happy chemicals like it does writing code. Tips on getting an entry-level job? Yep. First and foremost, I want to know you have any experience whatsoever working in some kind of team environment, even if it's McDonald's. Because one of the most important things about being a software engineer is being able to work on a team and not make your other coworkers mad and being nice. I don't know who Ronnie is, but if he's as good looking as some of the Ronnies I know, I'm going to take that as a compliment. The best language to learn at the moment, JavaScript and TypeScript. How old when you really committed to comp sci? I never committed to comp sci. I started as comp sci and then I was like, this is hard. And then I switched to math. Yes, be nice. Overall, be nice. What's your starting versus current salary? My starting salary was $65,000 in 2007. And now it's somewhere around 4 to 5 times that. What do I think of Codecademy? I don't think about Codecademy. I don't know. I don't even really know what that is. I've heard lots of good things about it. Check it out. HLSL. I don't know what that is. What do you say about Laravel Livewire? I first heard the term Laravel when someone made a comment on my PHP video that I made last week. I've never used it, but I need to check it out. Best place to live for software engineering career? Well, best place to live is Seattle area. It's like a dreamland here. It's fantastic. Why is JavaScript so good right now? Because the web runs the planet. That's why. Salary. I've said this a bunch. It's like over 300,000. I don't like repeating that. I'm not a big fan. I mean, I'm a big fan of salary transparency, but it's kind of weird on TikTok, if you know what I mean. Are Google certs legit? No idea. Probably. Have I ever thought about going indie? Nope. How do you get confidence? Pretend. Like right now. You guys think I have confidence? You know how long it took me to push the live button before this live started? At least 60 seconds. Because I was like going, these people don't want to hear me talk. These people have better things to do, like go to bed and get a good night's sleep. What's my opinion about Web3? Thanks. Who decided on built-in object in most consoles? I don't know. Oh man, the comments are going by fast. 350? What are y'all doing? You got... People, I'm just some old nobody. Why do you guys... Do I do sorcery? Yeah, but a wizard never reveals his secrets. Romania, that's awesome. I love Romania. In fact, one of my favorite coworkers that I've ever worked with is from Romania. What stack do you recommend to learn? I like front end. I think it's fun. JavaScript, React, TypeScript, C# if you need a back end. Maybe Python. What do you think about learning algorithms? They help you train your brain to think. Hello from Philippines. Hello from Philippines. How do you teach yourself? Oh, this is hard. Sorry, the comments are going by fast. Repetition, over and over and over, until not only can you get it right, but until you can not get it wrong. Do I use PowerShell? I used to use PowerShell all the time. I love PowerShell. If you're in a Windows environment, absolutely get familiar with PowerShell. You're going to rock it. I use it a little bit at home, but not so much at work anymore. Advice for junior software engineers? Yeah. You first and foremost need to just relax. I know it's really hard because like you're worried that people are going to be judging you about little mistakes here and there, or you're going to take your code reviews super seriously or super personally. But no, the senior engineer's job is to help you succeed, and they're there to hold your hand and be nice to you. So if you feel otherwise to that fact, if you actively feel like senior software engineers are trying to work against you and help you fail, then they're not doing their job properly. And you need to talk to your manager about it. What are possible career paths for dev? Well, I can share what I did, was just keep being a dev and keep doing the same thing that you do and move up in the ranks and continue being an IC and write code and ship stuff. Can I do CS if I'm bad at math? Of course. Angular or React? I'm not sure. Probably React. Is Python oversaturated? I don't think so. Should I learn Kubernetes? K8S is Kubernetes. I think you should. I've never done Kubernetes. I've done some Docker stuff. It still doesn't quite click in my brain, but yeah. Benefits of C# versus Node? Yeah. Multi-threading. C#. Thoughts on Java? It's fine. If you have no choice between C# and Java, then Java is fine. If you have a choice between C# and Java, C#. Do you recommend boot camp or university? I mean, it all depends on your financial situation. Probably university, but only because there are some automated processes that will filter out your resume if you don't have a 4-year degree. Any thoughts on pair programming? I love pair programming. In fact, I schedule anywhere between 3 and 5 one-hour sessions, which I kind of treat like office hours, where the folks on my team who are like working on the same project that I am, can come and sit and watch me code, and we can make it some kind of like community progress. Because even though I could probably do it myself, I would prefer to have the power of 5 brains doing it together. It's also great, especially when you're working remotely, because it helps team camaraderie and team building. Internship ideas, not really. Just try to find companies that are hiring for internships. Microsoft, in my experience, was great with interns. They treat them very well, they pay them very well, and absolutely under no circumstances accept an unpaid internship offer, ever. Thoughts on Golang? I don't have any, sorry. Will C be replaced by Rust? Maybe not C, but maybe C++, maybe? I don't know. The name of the book author was Jamis Buck. Jamis Buck, spelled like tuck. If you have a master's degree filter, no. Best thing you learned recently? Redux. React Redux. Thoughts on JavaScript versus TypeScript for front end? TypeScript, always. Annual income, a lot. Over 300K. What should my first tech-related IT job be while in college? Anyone that you can get. Is C++ a good language to begin learning? Yes, but I would not recommend it. Do I have a family? I do. What's the best framework for front end? There's lots of them. And they're all pretty good. React, Angular, Svelte, Vue. Can't go wrong. Toughest coding project? The toughest one I ever had... Oh, I don't know. I've had plenty of doozies, but like, I had one where we had this unique programming challenge, which was like, we had 2 separate identity providers, but we needed to write the front end for them 2 different ways. So like one team had to write front end for one identity provider in one code base. And then like the other identity provider was in a completely separate code base. So we had to write code twice all the time. So the biggest problem we wanted to solve was we wanted to be able to write front end code a single time and deploy it to 2 completely separate identity providers. And when I say identity providers, I mean identity providers. I'm talking Azure Active Directory and Microsoft Account. These are like some of the 2 world's largest identity providers. And I did it. Sorry, I missed a bunch of comments. I'm talking. How did I teach myself? Lots of repetition. I don't know what Flutter is. I apologize, Ray-T. Becoming a dev for blockchain? I don't know anything about blockchain. How do I think AI will affect the job market in the short and long term? In the short term, it's just going to become a tool to help devs become a little more productive. In the long term, continue doing that, but also maybe, I don't know, maybe in 20 years, it'll be a keystone for software engineers during their daily work life. Where am I based? I'm based in Redmond, Washington. Go Redmond. How often do I look for answers on Stack Overflow? All day, every day. Is YouTube good to learn? It is. How long was this? MSA and AAD merged a while? No, they did not merge. The UIs merged. The identity providers are absolutely still separate. What is my stack? TypeScript, C++, a little bit of Java, a little bit of C#. It looks like they merged, thanks to me and the rest of my team. If you're watching and you were on my team before that, it was not me. It was all you and me. I don't know what L7 is. What's the biggest tech company you've joined? Microsoft. Do I need a degree? It can help, especially if there are automated processes that filter out resumes that do not have degrees. Do I enjoy mentoring? Yes, that's the highlight of my day. What are the top five languages to learn? C#, Java, Python, JavaScript, and then maybe, what did I forget? I forgot something. C++ maybe? All right, 30 more minutes in this live, and then I got to go to bed. What's a project you've worked on that you are really proud of? I like the fact that when I was at Microsoft, we built a product that allowed people to communicate with their friends and family. So if you used Outlook And like, don't get hung up on the fact that it's Microsoft's email solution. It's an email solution. An email, for whatever reason, is still a semi-popular way for people to communicate with other people. And the fact that I help people do that made me very happy. This guy is Cap for something. Do I have my first troll for being 16 years in the business? I don't know what that means. I'm Cap. Did I get a troll? Does that mean I made it? Dude, somebody send me a Cap gift right now. If you do that, I will put on a hat. Do I recommend back and front end over full stack? I don't know. Do what you like. What does that mean? Lying? Am I that old? Like, I understand it means lying, but what does that mean? How am I lying? Look at me. Does it not look like I've been in big tech for 16 years? Yes. Whoever thinks I'm lying is full of crap. They're Cap. Stupid ass troll. Okay. Yeah, I'm not faking by any means. Check this out. Let me show you something. I'll be right back. I'm going over here. You know what this is? It's dirty. This is a 10-year Microsoft crystal. I didn't find this or steal this. My name is on the base plate. Cap my ass. All right, I'll be back in just a second. I'm putting that back. All right, I'm back. What up? Oh my gosh. What can you say about DevOps? I love DevOps engineers. In fact, I've done a little bit of DevOps. I wouldn't call myself a DevOps engineer. Let me turn off my light. I look like a moron. All right. I'm falling. Okay, someone sent me a cap. The only cap I have down here is this. This is the only thing I got. I don't even know why it's down here. I think I brought it down in Christmas. I'm going to wear it for the next minute, but only if you guys get me to 21,000 likes. Oh my gosh. I saw someone who said they get to use Outlook every day. Awesome. What's important to have on your resume? A couple things. I want to know you have some experience working in a team in any kind of capacity, whether it's like McDonald's or a senior project, something like that. Oh, we're almost there. You want to take down Oracle with me? Sure, why not? C# and C++, why not both? Holy crap. That was 1,000 likes in like 10 seconds. What is happening right now? I need to go to bed. Like, crypto? Nah, pass. Self-taught? How'd I learn design principles? On the job. What color was my ID badge? Blue? Blue badge. Can PHP get me a job? It can. Is there a future for crypto? In some capacity, yep. Y'all, this is ridiculous. I don't even know what's happening right now. I really need to go to bed. SQL Server, yeah, good stuff. I don't like asking for likes. I feel it's really cliche. Like, I'm old and so social media is weird to me still, even though I grew up with it. I joined Facebook before it was Facebook. Do y'all remember when it was called thefacebook.com? And you could only join it if you were in a certain set of universities? Do we have Christmas? Sure. What do you think about networking people? They're awesome. I love that they exist because I am not a network engineer by any means. So it makes me very happy that they exist and people like it. Thoughts on Ruby? It's a little past its prime, but it's fine. Oh my gosh. Look, holy crap, these comments. They're so fast. Am I full stack? Mostly front end, but some back end. Is 3-month boot camp worth it? I don't think you're going to get a FANG job with a 3-month boot camp, but you could definitely get an introductory private sector, maybe even government sector job with 3 months. Holy crap. I'm trying to talk as fast as I can. How did I learn? So I learned how to learn in college because college is less about learning like concepts and more about learning how to learn and learning how to be a human being, learning how to be an adult. And I learned how to learn by taking math courses in college. Do you think Next Computer will make it big? I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. My primary programming language is TypeScript. Okay, you guys can stop with the likes now. But you know, if you want to keep hammering away at your screen, that's fine. I don't care. I went to Washington State University. Look, actually this hat has a cougar logo on it. And if you guys, I can't really show it. There's a cougar logo there. The women's basketball team just won the Pac-12. My hair's all on my face. They won it today, so go Cougs. Hold on, I gotta put this hat back on because for whatever reason, you guys are liking like mad. Holy crap. Hey, look, I have 314 followers on this live, which is pi, right? 3.1415926 something something. In college, I had it memorized out to 100, but it's been a little while. Are you test automation? I used to be. I still very much love test automation. Special place in my heart. My current test automation is Cypress, because I do web UI automation. Cypress I really like. I'd also give a thumbs up to Puppeteer and Playwright. First step after graduating CS degree, don't relax. Pedal to the metal. How to work remotely and not go crazy. So like, here's what I did as a senior engineer when we first started working remotely back in 2020. So I've been working from home almost exclusively since early March 2020. I was at Microsoft at the time. And like, I could tell that people were starting to go crazy and they were like losing their minds. So I did two things. First thing I did was I set up twice a week office hours, Tuesday and Thursday office hours, and I would just go and sit. So anyone on my team who normally would have been easily come and knock on my door and ask me questions could just join and ask me questions. I wanted to make myself available for that. I also created like you wouldn't call it like a happy hour, but kind of like a Friday, 4:00 Friday meeting where people could just like come and hang out, bring your drink of choice, play some fun online web games, and just not think about work for a while. Jesus loves you. All turn to him if you want AM. I am Jesus. I do love you all. I am real. Explain recursion. No, you can Google that. How do you get a job after boot camp? By being persistent. Thoughts on Visual C++? I wrote a couple things in Visual C++, but many years ago. So, meh. I hate being a software engineer. That is fine. Like, if you don't like it, that's fine. Go, if you're in it for the money, that's also fine. That's a perfectly acceptable reason to be a software engineer. Developer Jesus. Advice for new grad with no prior internships. I mean, internships do help. But like if you don't have one, it's all about being persistent and showing up. Going to your recruiting events. Do I like to speak with people? I do. Like I wouldn't be doing these lives right now if I didn't like speaking with people. Sent to developer. Yeah. Okay. How did I go from 20,000 likes to 32,000 likes just by asking to get up to 21,000 likes? This is ridiculous. When do you know to ask for a raise? I've never asked for a raise. I don't phrase it in those words though. So I have asked for a raise, but I don't phrase it in those words. I phrase it in a way that says, hey, I am motivated to get promoted. I don't say, hey, I don't feel like I deserve to get promoted. I say I'm motivated to get promoted to my manager. How can you help me get promoted? What can we do together as a team? Because your manager's job is to promote people. What can we do together to get me promoted? I'm 50 with no software experience. Can I write an app? You absolutely can. My specialty is front-end web development. Cozy says, I've been developing for 3 years and I'm losing interest. Any tips? Don't fight it. Unless you have a goal in life to be a software engineer, don't fight it. Favorite tech buzzword? I don't know if it's a buzzword, but I have a buzz phrase. So you know how people say like, hey, we have two problems that need solving. We could kill two birds with one stone. Instead of saying kill two birds with one stone, I like to say feed two birds with one scone. I do use React. Any tips for how much salary I should be aiming for as a mechanical engineer? If you want to get hired as a mechanical engineer or a software engineer. I don't know anything about mechanical engineering jobs, sorry. How do I get better at coding? Repetition. Someone keeps saying vector databases. I don't know what that means. Principal software engineer. Cool, yeah. I like to think I'm cool. At least my mom says I'm cool. Quick versus Next.js. I don't have any experience with either of those, but I would want to say Next.js. I'm studying at ALX. I don't know what that means, but cool. Have I thought about offering mentorships? No, this is the closest I'll ever get to offering mentorships. I don't really have the time. Also, like, I feel very weird about asking people for money or like doing any kind of promoted content or paid partnerships. That's not my style. I don't know if you've seen some of my videos, how I'm very anti-advertising. Like, no, I will never, ever do anything like that. Do devs get the girls? I don't know. If you look like this, probably not. First programming language I ever learned, HTML and C, if you want to call HTML programming language. What's your advice for junior developers? Be nice, check your ego at the door, ask lots of questions, and have a drive to learn. That's it. I don't even care if your code is all that good. Electrical engineer to programming. Sure. How much do PHP developers make? I have no idea. Yeah, HTML is not a programming language, but it is a gateway to learning programming languages. Am I good in math? Yes. I have a degree in math, 4-year degree in math. I started out as CS, made it 2 semesters, realized CS was hard, and I switched to math because I realized how much I really loved college level math. Starting salary for C++ programmer depends on where you live. If you live where I live, probably 120, maybe 100. I'm not really sure. Yeah, VS Code, Writer, Visual Studio, all good stuff. Yes, anyone can tag along on HTML. It's fun to make fun of HTML. I like VS Code, but not for C#. I like Visual Studio, but only because of habit. I haven't actually tried anything else. Starting kids young on coding? Yep. 5 and 6 is a good time to start. My son is 7. I'm learning Java and Python. That's awesome. Are AI startups going to become the next big thing? I wouldn't say Web3, but AI. I don't know if that implies Web3, but AI, I don't think it's going anywhere. What does principal mean? Yeah, for me, it means like someone who worked their way up, has built and shipped software in a corporate environment for at least 10 years, and has gotten to the point where like they can help not only their team succeed, but also other teams in a large organization succeed. How to begin in tech? Almost always, without a doubt, is just to write code. It's very hard, or it's very easy to get into tech taking that path. I don't know any other paths, actually. Do you like JetBrains WebStorm? I've never used it, but I've heard good things about it. Isn't it not free? Doesn't it cost money? I like software that's free. What is the best thing to learn nowadays? I don't know, JavaScript. Do most of your colleagues work remotely? We're mostly remote. We currently do have a return to office plan, which is 10 days a quarter. I think that's okay. 1 day a week I could handle. 1 day every 2 weeks is fine with me, especially since we do our sprint planning and sprint retro on the same day. I don't mind going into the office 1 day every 2 weeks. $200 people at 12:40 a.m., at least for me. Could you take my dad in a fight? Probably not. Do I do side jobs? I do not. What type of coding specifically would you suggest to start writing? One that you enjoy. Give a chance to 4 to 5 languages. C#, Java, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, something like that. And see which one you like the most. 3:40 a.m. here. You got y'all on the East Coast. Go to bed. What are you doing? Goodness. Go to bed. My first meeting's at like 10:45 tomorrow. Although my main problem with these lives, I don't know if you guys know it, but like doing these lives is super addicting. Like all these questions, these like rapid fire questions and answering them, my brain is like going at a mile a minute, and like it's making my brain all hot. So like once I do sign off for the night, I'm not going to be able to sleep for at least 2 hours. I'm not retired. I'm 40 years old. I hope to retire by 50 or 55. Why not C or C++? I mean, they're fine. I just think they're a little heavy-handed and difficult for a brand new person. Yeah, I think that's too advanced. That's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people that look like me and talk like me would say, only C++. Nope. How much is my salary? Quite a bit. 300,000. At least. At a minimum, it's 300,000. Dr. Hod, go to bed. Thoughts on functional programming? It's awesome. I don't do it like normal conventional functional languages. I don't write any F# or whatever. But like the pieces of functional programming that have made their way into like more conventional languages like C#, I love it. Yeah. How do I make my resume distinguishable with only 1 year of experience? I mean, I want to know what you did in that 1 year. If you can say like, hey, I built this thing and it helped the company make this much money, or it reduced something by 10%, or like improved something else like reliability or page load time or something like that, then as long as you have specific ways to provide metrics for what you did, that's a big bonus. The next is like talking about the specific challenges you faced by working in a team. I want to know these kinds of things. How important is it to learn DSA? So let's talk about acronyms. So I'm not ashamed. Whenever there's a new acronym that someone uses and I don't know what it means right away, I don't feel ashamed. And I know that's because I'm in a position of privilege. I'm a principal engineer. I can be like, why didn't you expand that acronym? Why didn't you think that everyone in the room may not necessarily know what that acronym is? And I'm not calling out whoever used DSA, not picking on you. But like, I'm very passionate about trying to be inclusive in the words that I use. And I'm not perfect, but like, if I use an acronym or some higher up use an acronym in a very large meeting, a junior engineer who doesn't know what that acronym means is going to feel really, really apprehensive about saying, hello, what does that acronym mean? Because they're going to feel stupid about it. So if I ever do use an acronym, I either define it immediately or like don't use the acronym in the first place. How do I handle work-life balance? I log off pretty early because my son will get home pretty early in the day. And then I'll take like an hour off at around 4:30, hang out with him, make sure he had a good day at school and stuff. And then maybe in the evening I'll log back on an hour if I'm feeling like it. But I get my work done, that's all that matters. Do I work for a company? I work for a very large software company. Is building an app using generative AI a resume project that will stand out? No. If you put that on a resume, I would probably, unless my work was around AI, I would raise an eyebrow. AMA means ask me anything. See, I should have put that there, seeing as how I just mentioned that I should expand my acronyms. So thank you for calling me out. In the future, I will change my template to say ask me anything. I put AMA because I didn't think it would fit. Notice how there's like not much room over there. A great engineering manager, one that lets their engineers cook and doesn't get in the way. Okay, 15 more minutes on this live. I'm not going to go past 1. I also drank way too much water, so if that tells you anything. Yes. By cook, I mean work. Get your work done. So we're at 37,000 likes. Are y'all kidding me? Okay, I got 15 minutes left. I got a job for y'all. You know what that job is. I need to get to 40,000 likes because if I don't get there, I'm going to be super sad. But also, I hate myself for saying these words. Do I ever plan to expand a side? Sorry, it scrolled off. I'm going to jiggle the phone. Oh no, that's my face. Oh God. Oh, it scrolled off. Oh God, I'm bouncing around. What have I done? Now I'm cutting off my words. I got to fix this. Whoa, I'm moving. Okay, Lord. Supreme Matus says, I am 40 and long way from principal. So, for full disclosure, I was only promoted to principal maybe 6 to 8 months ago. If you're senior already, like you feel like you're too old and you should be principal already, talk to your manager about it. Say, hey, don't frame it like I'm old, I deserve to be principal. It doesn't work that way. Just say like, I'm motivated to become principal. I want to know what it means to be principal here. Help me and you and I make a plan together to help get me promoted to principal. And maybe that'll start the process that may take a year. I started my discussions with my manager to get promoted to principal 12 months before I got promoted. Am I I8 or E8? I don't know what that means. My company doesn't use those terms. Okay, the new goal is 50,000. Thoughts on AWS? It's awesome. I've never really used it too much, but it's awesome. Is building a ChatGPT app to answer TikTok questions interesting? No, because that defeats the purpose of live. I'm assuming 204 of you are here to learn what I have to say, and if I were to in the background be going on ChatGPT to answer questions, which I'm not, because that wouldn't be fair to you, because those answers wouldn't be coming from me. They'd be coming from some bot. It's not real. 50,000 if you stay up till 3. We need you till our 6. I can't stay up till 3 because I drank a lot of water. Do big techs hire part-time? Not really, unless you have very unique circumstances where you would need to work part-time. Can I confirm Python is the best language? No, there is no such thing as the best language. I don't play favorites. I don't play those games. Programming languages are just tools. It's like saying what brand of hammer is the best. What tool is the best to build a house? Well, you need lots of tools. Did you get to principal as I see? Yes. What operating system do you use for your leisure computer? I use Windows exclusively, both at work and home. And I'm not ashamed of that fact because I can be incredibly productive in Windows. I have only been going live for about the past 3 or 4 days. I am having so much fun. I want to do it every night, but we'll see how that goes. The only problem is I can't stop. Look at this. Look at all these likes. You know what this does? Every time I see one of these likes go by, it just motivates me to continue the live, even though I really need to take a bio break. What mindset do you need at an early career, say grad level? The mindset is learn. That's it. That's your only job. Your only job is to learn how to learn and to ask questions and to be nice. That's it. What games do I play? I'm a PC gamer mostly. I do have a pretty decent retro gaming setup back there. But I mostly play things like modded Minecraft with my son. No vanilla Minecraft. I'm currently playing Nuclear Throne. I play a bit of Vampire Survivors. Team Fortress 2, I have about, I don't even know, at least 10,000 hours on. What else I got here on my desktop? Bloons Tower Defense 6. JS, a Swiss Army knife? Not really. Call of Duty? No. What sort of glasses do I use? Glasses that I need to replace because they're really scratched up and old. My salary? At least 300,000. Opinions on System Verilog? I don't know what that is. Best place to apply learnings if self-taught? Ideally at work, but building things at home to solve actual problems that you have. 10 minutes on the live. We're going to get to 50,000, I think. Is C# a Swiss Army knife? Yes. For the most part. There are some things that it's not fantastic at, but it's pretty good at most things. What's an example of a good app to make on a resume to stand out? One that is visual. I very much prefer something that I can see rather than just staring at code, because I stare at code all day. And it's true what they say in The Matrix, you don't really see code anymore. You see what the code is doing. AWS or Azure, I don't have any experience with AWS. They're both fine. I like Azure, though. Yes, I said at least 300,000. Do you have a lot of time outside of work? Yeah. I position myself in a way where I'm not making as much money as I really could, but I don't care. I want a work-life balance that's good. I used to work at Microsoft. I made pretty good money there. I make just about the same, relatively. I've moved up since then. But I took a small pay cut so that I could actually want to get out of bed in the morning and go to work. It wasn't anything to do with Microsoft itself. It was just some things outside of my control and my team. Ever plan to quit 9 to 5 and do business? No. If I ever quit my 9 to 5, I'm going to raise goats. Making over 300K is a wild idea here. Where are you from, Starkium? I realize that in America, take home is super inflated, especially if you live in a high cost of living area like myself. I live in Redmond, Washington, which is where the Microsoft campus is. I don't work 9 to 5. I work whenever I want to, usually around 10:30 in the morning. It's usually about the time I get online. And then I log off around, I don't know, 4:30 to 5. Then I'll get back online maybe an hour later in the evening. Miata Daddy, do you drive a Miata? Yes, I love Scott Hanselman. He's one of the reasons why I decided to start making videos on TikTok. If you're not following Scott Hanselman, which is very unlikely because he has like 10 billion followers, go check him out. He's like a, I don't know, partner, program manager or something, dev advocate at Microsoft. This is the longest my beard has ever been. I've never grown out my beard this long before. Y'all, so first of all, we broke 52,000. We blew 52,000 out of the way, out of the water. There's 8 minutes left on this live. And I, like, all this makes me want to do is like either continue the live all night long or make sure I'm doing this every single night. Ever want to do an in-person meetup? Maybe. If in Redmond, I'll drink beer with anybody. Am I allowed to say that on TikTok Live? Hopefully I don't get banned. Imposter syndrome. Yeah, I talk about imposter syndrome all the time, including during this live. I have it all the time, including right before I went live, because before I pushed the go live button, I was like second guessing myself on whether or not I should, because nobody wants to hear this old fart talk about nothing. Anyway, yeah, the only way that I've found to mitigate the symptoms of imposter syndrome is just to talk about it. And that's one of the reasons why I started going live on TikTok. I do play video games all the time. My favorite language to write in is C# and TypeScript. Play video games all the time. I definitely enjoy my career. Why would I stay with it? A couple reasons. I've effectively had the same mindset since I first had my first computer. Using a computer is literally the most fun thing I could ever do. I don't want to do anything else than sit in front of a computer for the most part. I'm incredibly addicted to it. And the fact that they pay me money to literally push buttons on a keyboard, it's like a fantasy. Have I ever had issues with time management? Yes. Being addicted to your job is not something I am very proud of, or you should be proud of. And so it's a surefire way to get on the road to burning out. And I've burned out many times in the past. And you got to take breaks. If you have a European car, come get it fixed by me at Redmond European. I have 2 Audis. Does that count? Java or TypeScript? Those are apples and oranges. Both. Yes, we can talk on Discord. That's why I made the Discord. TikTok is absolutely one of the worst ways of communicating one-on-one with a person. Like the comment section on TikTok videos, I'm absolutely convinced that the minuscule limit, what is it, 100 characters or something like that, is put there on purpose so people make videos instead, because you can't sell advertising space with TikTok comments. Only innies out. Haha, very funny, Chisnate. How long would you have to self-train to get hired? A year. Do I specialize? I'm front-end dev, I guess you could say that's my specialty. TikTok is made for one-to-many communication. Yeah, go join the Discord that's in my bio. Talk about all sorts of stuff. Teams meetings. Hey, I don't mind Teams. I also don't mind Slack. They both get the job done. Opinions for full stack dev. If you like full stack, do it. First language to train or study. I always would say C# or Java. Maybe Python if that's your jam. JavaScript too. Linux or Windows, whatever. They're both just operating systems. They get the job done. I prefer Windows because that's just the way my brain works. Also, I worked at Microsoft for 13 years. So for the most part, people used Windows there. Not everybody, but I did. And so I am the most productive on Windows, and that's all I care about. I'm pretty pissed off at Windows right now, though. I'm having some weird problems with File Explorer where the performance is just dreadful. It's just ridiculous. When I open up a folder, do you know how long it should take for the folder to open? 0 seconds. Not 500 milliseconds, 0 seconds. Best way to make a connection? Discord. Get a Mac, dude. Okay. Why? People say that stuff. You know how much my productivity would go down if I had a Mac? At least 50%. I had a PowerBook back in college. I loved it. It was fine. It was a great machine. Y'all got to realize, these things don't matter. It doesn't matter what operating system you use. It doesn't matter. They all equally suck. Discord link not working? Why not? It should be working. I just checked it yesterday. Max can game just fine. Interviews for STE are way different than the job. Yeah, I have lots of ideas on why the interview process sucks. One of which is because nothing you ever do in the interview process is even remotely as difficult as what you're going to do on the job. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of LeetCode style questions. Also, I really, really hate whiteboarding questions because a whiteboard is a tool you use, yes, but not for writing code. Maybe pseudocode, but usually it's for like architectural design or like writing down notes. Like, why are we writing code on whiteboards? It's so stupid. $54,000 likes. That's ridiculous. What are all these other things? Live goal, tips for going live. Why do I need tips for going live? I'm just going to be myself. What made you move back into work with computers after getting a, did I say math degree? A math degree. I mean, the math degree was meaningless. I only got a math degree because I like doing math. I wasn't thinking about my future. I was just an idiot. I was a 20-year-old idiot. Just like many college students don't know what they're doing. They just like are going, they're going along for the ride. Like, what do you do after high school? You go to college. Anyway, I did math because I liked math. And then after I got my degree, I was like, oh crap, what am I supposed to do now? Oh, well, maybe I'll just go to grad school in math. So I joined the graduate program and continued doing math. I made it 3 semesters in and I was like, oh boy, holy crap, this is hard. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I quit. And then I just started working at the university, making web pages. And then my wife, my girlfriend at the time, was like, hey, I got a job offer over in the Seattle area. Are you coming with me? And I said, oh crap. Yeah, I do. I want to. So then I interviewed at Microsoft. Should have learned Vim and Linux. Okay, I'll go back in time and make sure I do that. Yeah. No, I don't play these favorites. Like, these are tools that my brain knows how to use. If I were to use Vim, okay, like I could figure it out. I could do it, but like, why? Is Rust good? Yep. What does a superstar developer do on your team? Get stuff done. That's it. Get it done so we can move on to the next thing and write it in a way that's maintainable for the next 5 years. That's it. I can be incredibly productive in any editor that I've been using for 10 years. I'm going to go back in time and learn Vim. Okay, then I'd be using Vim. People are weird, man. Is there a lack of good software engineers? No. I've worked with plenty of fantastic software engineers. I've worked with some not so great ones. Best language to learn right now? I don't know. It is 1 a.m. What do you use? I don't know. What do I use? Like editors? I mean, I write a bunch of TypeScript, and like Visual Studio Code is great. It can be super productive. It's got great extensions. Gets the job done, and I can log off at 5 p.m. and feel good about my day. I'm getting a bunch of messages on Discord right now. Just saw your live. The Dalton TT. I don't know if you're still here. But thanks. Do I use Writer? Nope. Junior dev starting salary, at least 6 figures. Exotic. Thank you for answering and teaching. Very insightful. I appreciate that. It's 1 a.m. I know I said I was going to log off at 1 a.m. I'm at 55,000 likes. What should I do? I'm going to take 5 more questions. Thoughts on paying $500 for a Cube cert? I don't know what Kubernetes cert? I don't know. Sounds okay. That's one question. Working from home right now or hybrid? That doesn't count as a question, but I am mostly working from home. Changing careers at 40 to a software developer. Any tips or schooling? You're going to feel like a fraud because you're old, like me, because I'm 40. Don't let that get you down. Just just do it. Like don't care how it makes you feel. Just do it. Have I tried Svelte? No, that doesn't count. Is AI the next big field? That also doesn't count. It's going to be a big field. I don't think it's going to be the next big thing. 40 is not old. How do you get a job interview without experience, but you have projects? You got to start small. Maybe at a FANG company like a Dev 1, but don't bite off more than you can chew. Are there a lot of internal tools at Microsoft that seem redundant compared to what's out in the open? If you had asked me that 10 years ago, I would say absolutely. Now, not as much. Microsoft has very much opened the floodgates so that you can use third-party open source tools at your leisure, for the most part. There is some vetting process, and there are some internal tools, like for whatever reason, historical reasons or whatever, they still exist. But it's fantastic now. 2 more questions. How do you recommend learning C#? I mean, just like any other language, high-level language that is. Start small, take trainings, do YouTube stuff. Build your first simple little project. And if that's even a console application that prompts the user for like your name and your age, and then spitting that out at the console, that's where you begin. 1 more question. I don't know, this guy was so great. Why is he spending his free time doing this? You do realize that some people take enjoyment about helping other people, right? You realize this, right? I am by all means a fully capable software engineer. I'm not hiding anything. I don't know why people think I might be hiding something or lying. I'm not. Like, come on. Look me up on LinkedIn. I don't care. I might not accept your friend request, but look me up. Like, I'm not lying. I have nothing to gain. I'm not even going to cash out any of the money I make from these lives. I don't need any of that stuff. You can add me on Discord, but not LinkedIn. 1 more question from someone who's not a troll. I don't even know why I interact with the trolls. They don't even bring me down, like whatever. I don't work at Microsoft. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't worked at Microsoft for 3 years. I'm not recruiting anything. But it's a great place to work. Like, who cares? Why would you say such a dumbass thing? Was the grind worth it? I think so. What's your relation to Rasputin? I don't have one. How to learn soft skills. This is hard. This is the last question of the night. How to learn soft skills. Sorry, if you're asking questions, I'm not ignoring them. I'm just not going to answer them tonight. But I will tomorrow night or the next time I go live. How to learn soft skills. This is something that's really, really hard to do on your own time. In fact, one of the reasons why I started making TikTok videos and doing these lives is to improve my soft skills. So you should do it too. You have to have other people around to work on your soft skills and to be approachable and to come across as a nice person. And the roses help motivate me to do that. Who's the number 2 gifter? Dominique Kepi. Fuck soft skills. Am I allowed to swear on live? Hopefully. No, soft skills are super important. And at this point, you're just a troll. So I'm not going to read any more your comments. Okay, y'all. 210 of you, go to bed. If it's tomorrow, where it is, don't go to bed. But get off of TikTok. You got better things to be doing. See you next time. I appreciate you all. Thank you.